All right. Welcome back to the continued orchestrated collapse that was once their case against me.
Isn't that a trip? That freaking voice always trips me out. It does. But I still like this thing. I haven't turned it on for so long. It's hilarious, right? I think so. All right. Well, as you can see, fuck that thing. Yeah, as you can see, this is a Jackstream. That's right. The fucking buildup of the bullshit on my chest has to be shoveled off. Right? If I could shovel this pile of crap off my chest and vent it out. And so, welcome Winmore. Didn't expect anybody to pop in really because it's the middle of the night. And this is definitely unscheduled. But man, I have got to freaking talk about this shit. Right? I'm sitting here talking to myself about it too much. I notice when I start doing that, time to start venting it out. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about is a bunch of the shit that I just learned. Oh yeah, just about to go to bed. I know, I was thinking about that too. And I thought, fuck it. I'll spend an hour or something talking about it. And get it out. Get it out. Devil come out. So what I've been doing since I think it's Tuesday, so about pretty much the whole week, is I have been reading Alaska statutes, particularly those that are pertinent to the case that I'm involved in, the probate case, that is. And first thing I realized, of course, is that like shit that we always talk about, they literally purposefully make the litigation with such language, legalese as I like to call it, that it is confusing. And most people will, like I've been reading it all week and I still fucking, some of them I read, I'm just like, what the fuck are they saying here, right? And so it's purposely created so that you'll get frustrated and say, okay, fuck, I guess I gotta go pay $5,000 to some fucking mouthpiece that has no guarantee that he's gonna, fucking help you after all. How many times have I done that? How many times have I paid some fucking lawyer that doesn't listen to you at all and then throws out some fucking motion or something that gets denied and, oh, well, sorry. And off they go with spending your fucking hard-earned money. Yeah, it's bullshit. But if you do persevere and stay true to yourself, which I've been struggling to do, but I have been able to be successful at, you'll learn. And that's what I've done. Combing through fucking literally pages and pages of this bullshit, right? And so skipping the things that aren't really pertinent to what's going on. And I literally have to find the statutes that will help to prove my point, my case, whatever, right? And it's very illuminating, man. I've found out so much shit that I didn't know just last week, when I was, because, I've been fucking wondering what the fuck to do, right? And that's really not my style at all, right? To be sitting here going, what the fuck should I do, right? And I know I've fell into the despair and shit, but this last week, has really been illuminating, and I get good news, and then of course that's immediately contradicted by bad news, because it's got to fucking level out. And so now, shit, I'm getting bad news in totally unrelated subjects, right? But I've been talking to all these fucking lawyers, right? Lawyers, just every one of them. Literally, I've gone through fucking every legal office that's posted on the bar, right? And some that aren't. And everybody I've talked to gives me a couple other numbers, and fuck, dude, talk to so many of these motherfuckers, and it always boils back down to the same thing. I'm sorry, I just don't have the time. I'm swamped, and I can't even eke in anything, and I can't commit to driving out to help you with your case or whatever, right? And mostly they're like, well, you got $5,000 you can slap on me, or if you don't, then bye now, right? And that was basically the case of the last uh, folks that I talked to, which were just from a paralegal office, right? Because I thought, shit, maybe I could get a little better deal from like a paralegal outfit. All I really need to know is how to fill out the petition and blah, 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 right? And that's all I've been saying to these guys. Hey, look, I'm not looking for full representation. I just need just a little, what they call unbundled service, right? And I've even hit those guys up that offer that. That by that they mean that they can do just one little thing for you rather than trying to, say that they'll be there with you for the duration. So, uh, and after doing this and learning these different terms and whatnot, like my new one, which is, wait for it, stare decisis. Okay? Stare decisis. Win war. You know what that means? Since you're the only one in the room. And I'll go ahead and interact anyway. Stare decisis. Now, yeah, what the fuck does that mean? Of course, it's Latin, which I like to refer to as legalese. But yeah, stare decisis. I'll give you a minute to think about it before I pop you the answer. And you're saying I've had like 5 lawyers in my history. I've been lucky enough or that they only took their pay after I win the case, nothing up front. Wow, that is super lucky because I have never talked to one that doesn't want a retainer up front. And even like these paralegals, right? They're saying, oh, you called the right place and blah, blah, blah. But the bad part is what they have to do is no matter what you say, they got to kind of discourage that. So that way you feel like you have to hire them, right? And so all I've been hearing is discouraging word after discouraging word, right? And so I realized, man, never going to get anywhere talking to these fucks, right? And finally decided, hey, if these rap bastards learned how to do it, I can too, right? And so that's why I've been sitting here combing through laws and learning terms like stare decisis, which actually means as it was or as it's been proven before or something like that, which, setting a precedent. We've all heard that where they, in a TV show where they quote a case from, a precedent setting case from a superior court usually. And so that way, the court isn't bound to follow it, but they usually do because they got to have some type of structure to this constantly changing fucking shit show of fucking legal fucking bullshit that we're all bound to and that none of us can understand, right? I mean, even after fucking reading this shit for the whole week, every waking hour, I'm still coming across some of these things. I might read a couple of them, right? That just, you sit there and go, what the fuck are they talking about? Because, I mean, it's a bunch of lawyers sitting around going, well, what if they come at it this way? So they had to literally fucking address every possible way that it can be, approached, right? And so it's always like, okay, so applies to this statute, but however, if this is present, you must do this, and right? See, it's just a constant fucking shit show, miasma of convoluted bullshit. And so this is why they discourage you from trying to represent yourself, because if you miss, like if you don't cross the right T or dot the right I, then your argument will not hold any weight. And so this is why they do a lot of that stare decisis, where they literally draw the court's attention to a previous decision to help them make their own decision on what you've laid out before them. So, right. And so I've never even really heard that term. I've heard about the setting precedent and shit like that. But when I read that, it was like, it's literally spelled stare, like stare, right? But it's pronounced stare, right? And then decisisis, decisis, right? Decisis. So, the decision has already been made prior, kind of what it means. It's kind of like, okay, they also call, um, when you present something to the court, you present it in prima facie, right? Prima facie, which means by face value. I know it sounds like, you got to do something, but no, it basically doesn't really have too much weight. It's just you're throwing it out there at face value and you don't have to do a lot to prove it. Right? And so that's the whole thing too. And then the court must respond in certain ways too, right? Uh, like, okay, uh, I finally fucking realized this one too that I didn't know for the whole fucking time, is that by entering the holographic will into the court, they just took it in, right? And that's all. And it's just sitting there. I literally have to petition the court to validate it. Right? And if I don't do that, then they won't do it, right? And you could literally fucking lose just off some stupid shit like that, right? So that's what I've been doing, is going through the shitload of rules that I have to enter into this petition that I have to put into the court way at a time and provide copies to everybody involved so they get discovery, And like I said, it's a fucking convoluted shit show, but I've got a handle on it. And I've actually, just from what I found today, I've found everything that I need finally, every little puzzle piece that I need to give this petition the best chance of being accepted. Because, I mean, literally, I've fucking covered every fucking thing. And I mean, the only way they're going to not uh, accept it is if they've literally been paid off, right? Because literally they're bound by a certain set of rules. And I've heard this before too. Like a judge sitting up there saying, "Hey, man, I wish I could help you, but unfortunately my hands are tied and I got a freaking rule against you," right? Which is, partially true. I've literally said to judges, "Hey, no, you don't have to, judge. You can literally freaking say that you will accept it and bang that little gavel of yours," right? And you should hear other people in the courtroom laughing when I say that shit. But I'm serious, right? Fuck you, the judge, goddamn it. You could say, fuck it, I'll accept it. Because I've heard him sure as shit say, well, I know that I shouldn't make this worse on you, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I've heard that when I'm sitting in court after spending fucking tens of thousands of dollars to defend myself, and literally have the proper channel through, and they just say, well, even though I know I'm not supposed to rule against it, I'm gonna anyway. Fuck you, right? They'll do that, but they sure as shit ain't gonna rule for you that way. Now, oh no, you fucking forgot to dot this I in 1,000 pages back, so hands are tied. You're fucked, right? And so, even still, there's that remote possibility that the fucking junior judge that's going to see this freaking case could say, oh, sorry, man. Right. But the cool thing I found out, just in the last day or so, is that the holographic will, the handwritten will, that um, my sister keeps referring to as just as notes and not a will at all, right? Because that's her opinion and she's got to try to believe that. No, there's only two things that must be satisfied in the document in order to make it to be considered valid, right? I got to use all these fucking little roundabout terms of allegedly type shit, right? But those two things are that the holographic will or the handwritten will must be signed in the handwriting of the testator, who is the person writing it, and that the what is it? It's like the not the main body of it, but the material for like I said, these terms, right? The material portion, which basically disperses the property, be also in the testator's handwriting. And if you got those two things, it can be considered valid, right? Not that it's guarantees it to be valid, but it's at least 95%, at least you filled in those blanks. And then the thing I found out that I did not know either, just last night was that there's a prior Supreme Court ruling here in Alaska, just a few years back, 2016, right? Where the Supreme Court, in the matter of Alva Marie Baker, affirmed the holographic will, even though it hadn't been signed, right? Because they ruled that just her writing her name at the top of the document in her own handwriting could be considered a signature. So fucking hey, dude, the Supreme Court affirmed a holographic will that fucking wasn't even signed. And I realized, shit, that's how serious they take this, right? Because why the fuck should you even write a will if any douchebag could come along and say, nope, I don't like it. Throw it out. Right? There'd be no fucking point. And so, and that's the whole thing. The court has to act like they're ruling on the basis of something. And so that gave me a lot of courage, right? It gave me that much needed boost I need to help me, gain back all the pieces of self-esteem that I've lost in the last fucking year and a half, right? Again, because that's what happens. These circumstances just chip off a little chunk of your self-esteem that falls off, and you might be able to fucking pick it back up and patch it back on, but it's never going to be where it was originally, right? Not the day of birth, but since you came to a reasoning mind. Remember when we were young, fucking world was our oyster, and fuck, we're going to crush it. Massive self-esteem, right? Mostly. But the steaming pile of dog shit we're forced to call our society will chip away at that self-esteem. And so, you'll lose fastest. And it doesn't matter how many you try to patch back on, you'll never get back to having that level. I mean, you might get, up there near it, but always losing just a little particle of it, right? And so I have been rebuilding that a bit by reading this shit over and over and actually understanding it and now knowing exactly what I have to do. It's no longer in a question in my mind. I know exactly what the fuck I have to do to get the court to be bound to rule in my favor through their own rules, right? Their own. I got literally multiple, I wrote down fucking pages of statutes, each one having to do with another little facet of the document. And I have the stare decisis as well now. I can quote the actual cases that will back up exactly what I'm saying. And so I feel pretty fucking goddamn good about it, even though I literally still have to write the whole goddamn thing. I got all the notes written for it. And now I have to download the forms and I'm gonna literally type it out all professional like. And I got to make a bunch of copies and blah, blah, blah. Right. But I'm planning on going to the courthouse on Monday and entering it in and sending off all the fucking copies I need to do and all that shit. And it'll be in enough time before the time limit. And so you're fucking A. There's been a change in the tide. And so I believe others are feeling that as well, because the good news, right? Let me get to that. Hold on. I pulled some pictures out that I wanted to show you guys too. And so these are pretty cool ones. So a fucking trip we went on horseback to help these guys, these folk here, to bring in their moose that they got for that moose season. See those kids? Those kids shot these fucking moose, right? Both those little guys. See those giant racks they're standing there with? Each one of them shot one of those moose. They were locked. Their horns were locked and they were fighting. And they dropped one and then the other. Boom. So they had all this fucking moose that they couldn't get back, because this is where we were. We're about a mountain and a half back behind town, behind Eagle River. It was crazy. It was a pretty cool trip until the horse master literally fucking turned into a fucking demon from hell and started screaming and kicking the fucking horses like a freak show. And I literally had to pull those kids aside and distract them while he fucking went over every cuss word in the book. Here's a couple of the old boys there, not the guy who freaked out, but a couple of the other guys that came in the horses. Of course, I don't have a picture of me on the horse because I was always taking the pictures. But it was a hell of a fun little trip, despite the freak show that we had to deal with. And those guys even sent me some fucking booze, man. After, I mean, I didn't expect any. I just wanted to get the fuck out of there. And here, about a week later, I get this box. And it's like from these, because the guy was a young pastor at the church, right? And the father was. And he actually put a note in there and he said, man, I want to thank you so much for being such a positive uh, influence out there. And you really, I mean, I really thank you because, he was talking about how I, kept his boys from I mean, because when the old boy started freaking out on the horse, man, he was literally kicking that horse in the cock, right? And I grabbed those kids, like, hey guys, come over here, man. Let's do this thing right over here, right? And I got them away from that bad scene and shit like that. And so he really appreciated that. And he sent me a whole fucking box of booze. It was sick. And so, but after that, I mean, I was actually working for the old boy and I would not go back to work for him. I mean, he revealed who he truly was. And there's no way I could even work for him or even talk to him anymore because fuck, he's a freak show, right? And he's tried to apologize half-heartedly. He's like, hey, sorry that I was so grumpy. And I was sitting there, grumpy? I said, and I was almost ready to say, oh, are you referring to when you turned into a demon from hell? Is that what you call grumpy? Right? But I bit my tongue and just said, grumpy. And I was waiting for him to drop me off so I never have to talk to him again, right? Oh, what he said when my lawyer need to get my Social Security disability, took like $7K after I won, nice little chunk. Yeah. When I was pleading my case, the judge, okay, I made my will years ago. I have to have it printed up, notarized. I can remember freshly. Don't, bro. Actually, if you don't have any inheritors, then don't worry about it. But don't put them through the shit that I'm going through, right? Fuck no. All you have to do instead of doing a will, it's a little cheaper, can be done. This is why they do that. Fucking create a trust. And that way your trust will pass over to whoever your beneficiaries are the moment you pass, and they will have to go through this fucking probate bullshit where the court gets its chunk and, anybody can come along and say, hey, don't like that, me, right? Don't put them through it. Don't put them through it. Create the trust. And you can do that too by doing, you don't have to hire anybody to do it. You just got to study the legalese and write everything out per se, right? To it, right? All that bullshit. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple other pics here. I'm looking for the one of my brother. There's me on horseback, Oregon, back in the mullet days. That was a fun fucking ranch. That was the horse I used to ride. Me with my departed sister and a couple of our kids. I thought, I've been showing all the departed people. Let's show some of the people that are of the next gen, right? Here's a funny one. This is me and my siblings as little kids. That's me holding that giant bottle, whiskey bottle. Hilarious, right? Fuck, where's my bro here? Okay, here we go. Picture of my brother Guy with his two of his sons, right? Austin and Dylan. Well, look at those boys, ain't they cool? Good kids, right? And me and my brother did get along for a long time, and then we falling out, and get along, falling out. And the good news is that I was able to talk to him, and he could see the reasoning that I laid out, and so he might be changing his team, right? Don't know yet, but hoping that he he will. I think he pretty well will, or at least take a position of no contest, right, and not be against me at least, which is awesome, fucking excellent news. And he didn't want to hear all my legalese either, right? But he said, "Oh, it sounds like you got it figured out." So yeah, okay, whatever, But I got to get off the phone, man. Talk to me later, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. So freaking awesome. And just being able to talk to somebody within my family again, where I haven't been able to for at least a year or so, right, was cool as it was, right? Literally got to talk to someone. That's how fucking bad it is for me, right? But yeah, he's older. We're all older now, but that was him with his sons. Okay, here's a real old picture of me and my brother that became the scumbag drunk. That's me in the red shirt, putting what they call a float bag on the trolling line, set the line out. Little bitty kid. That's how old I was when I started on the boat. I think it was like 11 or 12. And I was just a tiny kid, right? Tiny little fucker, as you can see here. On the back deck of the boat as a slave. What an upbringing. Right before we left Alaska, or right before we left Anchorage to go get on the boat. This is my birthday party at Shakey's Pizza. Shakey's. Fuck, I used to love Shakey's, man. And on your birthday, they would literally give you like a small pizza or some bullshit like that. So always able to go to Shakey's. Fucking badass. Me with my departed sister's kids. Corey's little guy at the bottom, and Chrissy, his sister, and then the other kid is Sean. Good kids. Yeah. Well, we were all started out good. Gone bad for a lot of us, right? It's another one. It's the Haunted Mansion. Halloween. That's me in that little gray sweatsuit. That was part of my costume because of my brother. My oldest brother bought a couple masks for me and my brother. He bought the coolest mask in the world for my brother. And what is definitely the stupidest mask ever fucking made for me, right? It was this God, I wish I had a picture of it. I thought I used to have one. Fucking stupidest mask ever. It was of this sad looking robot type face, right? A sad looking tin man, right? Fucking, oh my God. The moment I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck is this, right? And Sam's all, oh my God, because he bought him this fucking red skull looking like badass full head mask, right? For back in the fucking 70s, it was like out of this fucking world, right? We used to wearing those little plastic pieces of shit. And these were both full head masks. And I was just sitting there looking at how fucking badass Sam's was and how fucking retarded mine was, right? And I'm just sitting there going, what the flying fuck, right? And the worst part is that since, I'm sure those things cost plenty back then. And I had to wear that fucking piece of shit. Not for just one Halloween, but for a couple of them, right? I hated it, right? I had to wear the stupid fucking retarded piece of dog shit. But funny story, huh? So when is the hearing? Hearing's coming up next month, the 14th. And I love these old pictures. I just went through a bunch of Polaroids myself in the old days with my dad, my family. I know, right? Old pictures, pretty cool. Bring up all types of different emotions for you and whatnot. And that is so true. So let's rattle through a couple more. And then I can get back to the story. Corey. Yeah, all in his regalia. Good kid. My favorite nephew. Him and I get along pretty good, but I'm worried about him because he hasn't contacted me back. And they're saying he's ghosted out of down there where he was at. I think, because he was talking about doing that. He was talking about how he wasn't happy there. And I was like, shit, ghost out if you got to, right? So I'm hoping that's just what it is. But there's always that nagging thing that there's fucking amount of people going missing every day is up to 1,500 every day. 1,500 people in this country missing. Boom, poof. Taking them underground to their dungeons. And I'm just praying that none of that happened. Right there. Look familiar? Huh? My daughter, his baby. And her growing up. The next generation, who I still have a little bit of hope to build something for. I have a strategy on that. It's my brother's daughter, the one that fucking lives in his own world and hates me, and now letting this poor girl think she's man. But see, she was born with birth defect, which keeps her eyes closed over there, and my brother didn't want to let him do surgery to fix it, so she had to live her whole fucking life one closed eye. Poor kid. Sadly, she's like the homeliest Calkins there's ever been, right? I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just a statement of fact. Because usually they're super cute little babies, like these two here. Right? Savannah and Jordan. They're Savannah and Dylan. But yeah, and then there's some other extended families. Girls with me, young girls all grown up now, but yeah, see how super cute. And rattle through a couple more real quick. two other the nieces, nephews, my sisters, the one that's against me, right? And my other sister's kids, the girl and the boy in the background, but the boy in the front is my brother's kid, Jordan. So I guess that's probably about enough for now. Oh wait, let's pop off this one, which of course shows my dear mother with my sister's daughter, Chrissy, and her daughter, Tonea, which they call Nene. And then in the background, my other brother's daughter, Brandy, another good kid, right? And I'm hoping that I can give them some good news here after this is all done. Possibly save some of these assets for them so that they could have something for their futures and not have to go through the same shit we're all doing with this being unsure. Okay. Where's my next meal coming from? Just like that little fucking lyrics I wrote the other day, right? Can anybody out there tell me what it's like to be free, right? Anybody ever say that they've never had to pay? Because I don't know one fucking person on the face of the earth that has never had to pay for something. We all have. I've heard of some stupid tribe well, stupid, why should I say that? You know, you hear this, well, I guess I mean some stupid story of how there's some tribe out in the Amazon that refuses contact with the outside world, right? They'll show you an occasional picture of these guys. It's like, fuck, is this a hoax and a psyop? Probably, right? But no, I'm finally feeling a little fucking bit better because, I mean, the shit was mounting on me, all right? I have deduced, quite truthfully, that none of these other people in my family, the siblings, are all contesting my mom's will. Therefore, you know, because of their hatred of me, they're disrespecting her. Post-mortem, I realized that they have not even considered for a moment what it might be like in my shoes, right? In my situation. Being attacked by everybody totally alone. Fucking having to use every fucking penny I make just to keep this fucking estate protected so that they can come along and steal it right out and justify themselves with whatever bullshit they're telling themselves. So, I mean, that just hit me, right? It hit me. It's like they have not even considered what it might be like to be where I'm at, right? I would love to ask them that, you know, have you ever even considered for a moment, what if mom left you hurt the beneficiary and all the rest of us were fucking ganging up and fucking saying the most vile shit about you? How would you feel, especially if you're completely alone? Because none of them even know what that's like. They can't even try to say that they do because they've all been in some type of relationship for most of their adult lives and have never even had to spend so much as a fucking day, one fucking day alone, much less a year and a half like I have here. Right? And man, I'm at the end too, right? I don't want to do it anymore. And so that's the news I was gonna say. I finally had just fucking decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna offer to sell everything and split it all up, just like they fucking supposedly want done. Right? Fuck it. Sacrifice it all. Let's sell it all. Let's split it up and let's just end this fucking merry-go-round of bullshit that I'm stuck on, because none of them are fucking having to worry about anything in their days. Fucking, my sister's still fucking taking 10 vacations a year and right? It hasn't affected their lives in the fucking slightest. But me, it has fucking ruined my fucking life, right? Going through this stress has aged me 10 years. You can see it in my fucking face, right? It took me fucking years to reverse the signs of aging all back, right? And fucking, I'm a shadow of my former shadow. The cost to me has been quite significant, not just the monetary cost of fucking paying for all this shit all by myself without any fucking they even fucking call me and wonder if their fucking house is burned down. Oh, they supposedly care about so much. They have no idea what fucking conditions it's in because they never fucking even asked, never even inquired. Okay. Never asked me if I ever needed fucking any help at all. Yeah, you need a few bucks? No, fuck no. They're trying to starve me out. literally trying to fucking break me. And I did. I broke. And so I offered him the deal. They wrote it up, sent it to my sister, said, hey, look, here's my offer. Let's sell it all. But let's at least try to fix the house up a little bit so we get the proper price for it and we can all split up some more. But the condition is you got to stop this contest with the probate and let me get to work on this place. Help me out with some of the bills. Is that too much to ask? To fucking give them all part of my rightful inheritance to the tune of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 maybe? Hey, you send me a fucking little bit of my pay the next bill. You 40 grand in return. Of course, you can guess what happened. Right? Took a few days for my sister, the ringleader, to come back. And long-winded fucking sorry, no accept, right? All this fucking long fucking paragraph. Perhaps maybe I might even read it because it's a load of bullshit. And she said, well, I mean, the key parts in it were, well, I know that the estate could come back at you for market share of rent, right? Like I have to fucking rent my home, right? To be caretaker, I have to pay, right? No. 100% wrong. And I have the statutes to prove it, all right? But that's what she said. She said, oh, but I wouldn't, try to charge you. So therefore telling me exactly what she's going to do. And I already knew she was. Matter of fact, I know they're already planning on lawsuit after lawsuit to fuck me out of what I might end up with. I already know that. They've already set the groundwork for it. And I'm not fucking stupid like they are. Okay? Because they are fucking retarded. No, much smarter than that. And I've gone through and found everything I need to fucking decimate their little fucking motion, which is already shot down in the water. All I have to do is respond, which I didn't know, right? The courts don't tell you that shit, right? They took the will in, but they didn't validate it. Burden is on me. But I figured out exactly how to do it, and now I will transfer the burden onto the contesters, who will have to prove a lot more. As a matter of fact, in the stare decisis that I'm fucking quoting, the Supreme Court ruling for the holographic will that wasn't even signed, will back me up, and they will have to, they can't do shit against it, right? They could try, but in the Supreme Court ruling, the contesters literally tried every fucking angle they could to try to get that will thrown out. But in the end, the Supreme Court ruled to affirm. That's right. I didn't know this until the other night. And as soon as I read that, I was just like, fucking there it is, right? And there it is. And I've been doing that as I've been combing through it, right? Every little thing that I knew, I was combing through this, I'd find a little point, and there it is. Woo. So it's been kind of, I don't know, satisfying to be able to find these things. And, put together this fucking perfect petition that has no other choice than to be successful because the court does have to follow its own rules. Right? And I found the perfect little things to cover everything, including the way to prove that through her own actions, my sister cannot be nominated to be personal rep. Cannot. Right? Because of the things she's done already, including being very deceitful about it. Saying, no, doesn't mean anything. It's just a name. It's just the guy who fills out the paperwork. No, I found the fucking actual definition of personal rep just today. And it gives, once the personal rep is appointed, they literally have absolute power as though they were the absolute owner of everything in the probate. Oh, that doesn't sound like it doesn't have any power at all, right? It doesn't sound like just somebody who, fills out the paperwork. No, absolute fucking power, right? As though they were the owner. Oh, fuck, right? But the cool part is they found the statutes that will disqualify her by her own actions, right? Took a lot of sifting, took a lot of shit, been doing this for days. Fucking eyes are watering from looking at the screen. Fucking ass is hurting from sitting in his chair. But I found it. And I've got it. And there fucking case done. Yeah. Doesn't matter what they do. They can argue and argue and try to draw it out, but they cannot disqualify the holographic will, which is a legal document, no matter what they call it. It is legal. So cheers. We got 7-Up, right? Mouth is getting dry from rattling on. It's that slow boy got. I got your page pulled up on the present screen. I was going to pop off a couple of your videos at the end because you always got good stuff, and I just wanted to put something cool out, right? And so I literally I have your page pulled up, and so we're going to go to that. Maybe I'll ask you what I should share, because there's some. It looks like there's cool stuff. I like the little bear one, just the looks of it, right? As you can see over here, it says me and Crispy. And so I was thinking to pop that one off. What do you think? Let's do it right now. Fuck it. And so here we go. It's from Slow Boy, her latest channel, which only has, oh fuck no, it's a big one. 554. I thought I could pick the lesser one. Oh well. 548 subscribers. God damn, woman. Here we go. Oh shit. Get over here. Let me rub up on your ass. Is it a male and female bear? Good shit. I'm gonna have to put thumbs up. Oh, that's right. I can't fucking log in, so I might be able to. Not be able to. Oh no. Oh yeah. See, I gotta sign in. Can't do it on YouTube. Oh, that's a good one.
So romantic.
I think if the stars in the sky could be numbers, the only way you truly see.
Is this one of yours?
I think that the earth is flat, yes, I hope you do too. Will you be with me?
Wait, what?
I said, will you be with me?
No, you
what
said
about the plastic?
you said the earth is flat?
Baby, I mean, is that all you took away from everything I just said to you?
Oh, baby, no. It's just, I don't think...
Wait, here comes the chorus. Do you at least think that the whole moon landing was a hoax? Do you know that Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard were close?
Who are they?
Do you think that they made a bet who could start a bigger cult?
I have
Whoa.
no... So romantic.
I think if the stars in the sky could be numbers, the only way you...
Oh fuck, that's good shit. That's good shit. I love it. I needed that laugh too, right? Fucking hilarious. Good stuff. We'll come back to it later when we need another one, right? But gold, thank you. Thank you. Slow boy, you always got the good shit, right? Kristen, of course, says oldest son should be sole heir. Enough said. Oldest son, that counts me out. I'm the youngest. As in whoever mom said, which is rich. Right. Actually, she left stuff to everybody. She just left the house to me, which they don't like. And they fucking, I mean, as I explained earlier, offered a better deal than they could ever get, even if they do win, right? Because there's the court will still take a large portion, and we will get less. We all get less, right? And the deal I offered is cut the whole thing now. We sell now, and we all split up a greater amount. Look, right? I'm sacrificing everything. They're getting everything. Right? This is apparently supposedly what she wanted. Oh no. She said it's business now. Right? Literally. After she said, "Oh, well, the estate could come after you." I wouldn't. I'll do it for next to nothing. All this lies. And said, "Oh, it's a business now, so as far as paying, that's right." So I actually left a little thing in my offer too. I said, let's all come out ahead and don't risk coming out with nothing, because they have that risk. And so I did it for a reason, all right? Not just to agree to stop the bullshit, which I know will never stop. But I did it because I knew that she wouldn't even tell the others about it. Right? She would make that decision for them like she's already fucking Queen Superior. Right? No, the other should at least know there's an offer on the table. Don't you think? Of course. So I took a chance and called my brother today. And I said, so, bro, Gwen tell you about the offer I threw on the table? And he was like, what? So, yeah, did she tell you I threw an offer on the table to sell everything and split it up right now? Huh? So, yeah. She didn't tell you about it, huh? I don't know. I was like, huh? So, you see what she's doing to me. You don't think she's going to do it to you? She's literally not including you in on this decision. So, take what you will from that. And so he started to see the light. And I don't care. Fuck it. I mean, I'll do anything to end this bullshit, right? It's fucking taking a toll on me spiritually. And I can't go through another winter of it. And so, fuck, I'm going to give it all up just to try to stop the bullshit. That's where I'm at. Because y'all know me. Always true to myself. And, if that's what's going to take to, I don't know, perhaps keep us from being lifelong enemies, maybe perchance that they might, stop attacking me. I'm sure I'm never going to get an apology or any help, but, maybe they've stopped attacking my mom. That might do it. That might be enough for me. Hey, fuck it. Sacrifice everything. Just try to make amends that I shouldn't even have to do because they're trying to act like I wrote the will. Fucking, I didn't. My mom did, right? I didn't make this decision. I'm just stuck in the middle of it. So, but the other news is that I did figure out exactly how to defeat them. And so, and I figured out exactly how to petition the court to where there will be no other choice other than myself to be appointed as personal rep, which, as it turns out, has absolute power. Yeah, fuck, it's not just a name or a title. No, you have absolute power, like you are the absolute owner. Unless, of course, you do something fraudulent or wrong, then you can be held accountable for it. But there's nothing anybody else could do about it unless you do fuck up, and I don't plan on doing that. In fact, I've proven that I'm the only one who has actually followed my mother's final wishes to the letter. To the letter, right? I'm the only one. And by them contesting, have pretty much proven that they're not interested in her final wishes at all. And that pretty much almost disqualifies them to be serving as the personal rep, which is supposed to go by the wishes, right? I figured out exactly how to word that in there to where, like I said, there will be no other choice. Unless, of course, I decide to suggest that somebody else be appointed so that way we don't have to go through the fucking next battle of bullshit. And I'm thinking about that. But right now I know that there's no way that any one of them can be appointed as per the law. Right? Down to every little secret little fucking phrase to ensure that. So even if I don't get it, it doesn't matter, just as long as they don't. And all it took was a week of my life staring and combing through every fucking statute there is that's enacted surrounding this fucking probate. That's what they call it. I might read a little bit of it for you here later. I've got fucking literally pages and pages of fucking notes. I also figured out what those two little S's that are connected together means. All it means is section start, right? This is where a section starts. Confusing. No, it's not confusing anymore. Got a handle on this shit. Matter of fact, if I put my mind to it, I'd probably fucking be a paralegal. And especially when I get up there and articulate my case 1,000 times better than any of these fucking faggy mouthpieces that I've talked to that can barely even fucking speak their fucking idea, right? Some of them were like, I'm just sitting there thinking, man, this motherfucker cannot fucking definitely should not be in a courtroom trying to litigate. He can't even fucking tell me what he's talking about, much less legalese, right? Fucking, these people are fucking, they're a joke. This whole goddamn thing's a joke. So, but I went to the beginning, but the 144p at 2 times still over. Oh yeah, I know, right? It just sucks when like takes shit on you. Yeah, but it's nice when you can stand up and shit back, which I definitely going to do, especially when I go ahead and enter this petition into the court, and it'll be duty bound by its own laws to shit back, and the burden of proof will be put on them. She will be on the other foot. And I could tell there's a change of the tide. Why? Because get this. My fucking sister texted me today. Okay? Out of the blue. My phone isn't working very well. It only works in one spot. So once it gets to where it's not getting any signal, I have to go and check it. And then I have to turn it off and on again. So it'll reacquire the signal. So once I do that, then all of a sudden I'll get a bunch of shit will come flowing in, right? Is that Joe Crow? Joe Crow in the house. What's up, Reg? Did you go to court? Yeah, but it was just postponed, and the next hearing's next month in about 20 some days. So I still have enough time to enter all this stuff, and they have enough time to, you know, that's part of it. You got to give them what they call discovery, right? So they can prepare their own rebuttal or whatever. So I finally figured out the procedure, even though I was too late to address the motion that they enacted a long time ago. I'm entering a petition anyway, which is a little bit different. Motion is actually one of the lowest level actions in a court. Petition's a little bit higher. Right? And so yeah, it's built confusing just so you'll fucking get discouraged and fucking either lose your case or hire a mouthpiece that will lose your case, right? And take all your money. One more saying, Kristen, I think it will end in Reg's favor. Too, if the judge is fair. Yeah, I mean, except if they're not paid off, okay, then they have no other choice but to rule by the court's own rules and their own laws. Not really in my favor, in my mom's favor. That's a little. I'm going to go ahead and correct you on that. This is about respecting my mother's wishes, not about me. I'm just a fucking poor sap stuck in the middle, right? Poor sap sitting here paying for everything and fucking lost the last year and a half of my life being a slave and haven't even fucking smiled or laughed in all that time. Yeah. I'm the guy who got fucked no matter what. Even when I do win, I'm still going to be the one who got fucked because it has taken an enormous toll, as you can see just by my face. Look at it. Fucking breaking out and shit like that. I look like a fucking fossilized old fucking. So, but as me old dad likes to say, every once in a while, even the sun shines on a dog's ass. I always like that one. Hilarious, isn't it? So I believe the sun finally shining on this dog's ass because I figured that shit out. And once you get a handle on it, it gets infinitely easier, right? After reading all this shit for these last, like I said, about 5 days, 4 or 5 days in a row, every waking hour, I got a fucking good handle on it. I'll ask you, Kristen, do you know what the term stare decisis means? Or you, Joe Crow? Anybody in the room? When we're already told them. Stare decisis. It's Latin. Legalese. And it's a term that is actually used quite often, but seemed to me when I first read it, I was like, what the fuck is that, right? Spelled S-T-A-R-E, like stare, but pronounced stare, right? And D-E-C-I-S-I-S, decisis. That one's pretty easy to figure out there. I'll give you guys a second to think about it, come up with a guess, and tell you exactly what it means. Prima facie is a little easier. Prima facie, at face value. That's another one that I learned. What do you say there, F lawyers? It's all up to the judge, and go for it, man. You can do it. Doesn't matter how much you pay a lawyer. Exactly. They could still lose for you. We're just talking about that. So it's all about speaking the proper language on the proper form or motion or petition or whatever, and entering it in a timely manner. So it's all mostly about, especially this what I'm in, right? The probate, which is different than it's a civil case, and right. And I'm gonna literally, if I get a chance to, I'm not gonna say any more than I have to, but I'm going to literally ask the judge, is there any consequence for um, being inconsistent with the truth on your sworn statement? Right? In other words, lying to the court, which is called perjury. We all know. I'm gonna ask him that. Is there any consequence for being in? I mean, I literally word it that way, so he'll have to figure out what I'm saying, which I'm sure he will, right? Or can anybody just go ahead and be untruthful to the court anytime they want? And so he's going to have to say, no, you're not supposed to lie, right? Not supposed to perjure yourself. So that's interesting. I only ask because every one of the sworn statements that you've taken in from my siblings are all inconsistent with the truth. Huh, wow. Yeah, and I can prove that. So I don't know if it will have any bearing on this case, right? That they have all lied. They'll probably say, "Oh, we're just trying to decide the validity of the will right now." Maybe sometime down the line, maybe you can take that into account, at least to establish their character. And so, okay, stare decisis means, as stated previously, decision that was stated previously in a previous case. In other words, set a precedent, right? And we've all heard people quote prior cases from a higher court or whatever that have made a precedent and made a decision, and normally the lower court will follow that decision because they have to have some semblance of structure to this giant shit show they call the legal system, which is constantly being changed. That's the other bad part, is that it's October and the fucking legislators who are constantly fucking enacting new laws against all of us. As a matter of fact, at the rate they're doing it, that they'll eventually pass a law against everything. It'll be illegal to do anything. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Stare decisis. And that's how it's pronounced too. I even looked that up. And let's do a YouTube video to get it. Right? Means a previous precedent, which a court is not bound to follow, but normally will. As a matter of fact, in the Supreme Court, there has been only 145 cases that have not followed stare decisis when quoted, right? Out of all the fucking cases ever done, I guess that'd probably be a small amount, right? So they normally do not rule contradictory to any stare decisis that is quoted and their attention is brought to, right? You got to say it, but it's right. Right? And that's why you're best off to not say anything at all, unless the judge literally asks you something, and then you just, if it pleases the court, I'll say this, and just say as minimum as you can, and clam right the fuck back up. And that's my strategy now, right? I'm just gonna sit there and watch as the judge is literally bound by law to follow the petition because literally covered everything. The only thing that can put the validity of the holographic will into question is if they can prove it's straight out forgery, which it isn't, or that it has been altered, which it hasn't been. So yeah, they're fucked. Ow. Like I said, this previous stare decisis precedent set by Supreme Court right here in Alaska affirmed a holographic will that hadn't even been signed. So it only fucking literally fulfilled one of the two requirements that a holographic will has to have in order to be considered valid, or not considered valid, but can be considered valid. Of course, the final decision will be up to the court. And what they have to do is they have 3 criteria. This is the last thing I have to look up. There's 3 criteria that they have to decide. If they are more true than they are less true, then they have to rule that it's, valid. And so, all that shit's covered. So yeah, breathing a little sigh of relief. But I know for a fact that even if I do turn the tide, this one hateful person, I have to call my sister now, she's fucking literally lying to me with every breath and projecting exactly what she's going to do. I don't know how she can think that I'm stupid enough to fall for this. And I don't know how they can sit there and believe that what they believe is law. Fuck, nobody knows that shit, right? It took me fucking 5 days to figure out that it wasn't, right? And I mean, I knew it wasn't, but I mean, to figure out how I can prove it, right? Through this fucking bullshit system that we're stuck in. But I figured it out. Just take some, perseverance. And luckily I have a great mind to capture the concepts within, because I could see how, like I said, there's still some things I don't quite, like I'm still reading some of these things and going, what the fuck are they trying to say, right? Oh my God. And so, Joe saying I'm learning how co-emotions and all that. Yeah. We said, do you come across any books or anything? No, I have literally been looking at everything online because I have to post all this shit. And I'm looking at online resources, but there are some books out there. And so Slowboy says, just got to me. And Crispy Bear vid part. I know, right? Oh, you just got to that. Oh shit. No, I love that. Thank you so much. That was a hell of a funny bit. Made me laugh a lot, especially the one after 2 where the guy sings a song about, conspiracy theories. That was a goal too. Said he needed a hug because the dog died. Oh, so that's sad, man. Sad. It's another one of the main reasons why I'm not getting a dog, because I mean, that fucker dies. Right? Joe Crow, don't sell the house. Keep that shit. Even if they charged you rent from the past, they would still have to evict you. Yeah, that's a great sentiment. I like that. And as it is, no, I cannot be. I found the statute that says that I cannot be charged rent because I am literally acting as conservator, right? That's the term I got to use too. Conservator, not caretaker or anything else. No, I am acting conservator because I have paid all the bills, including the taxes. That's the one you got to pay. If you pay the taxes, boom, means a lot to them. Paid the taxes and all the bills and have been protecting the estate, something that anybody who is personal rep or even aspiring to be personal rep should be doing. I've been doing that job. So, and not only that, but there's also what they say, there's a what they call an order of people who have interest. Right? In other words, if you're getting something in the will, you have an interest, right? There's an order of priority of the devisees, right? Also, it can be called heirs, people named in the will, people that are part of a devisees. There's an order of who should be considered for the personal rep, which has godlike powers, right? And you have to meet certain criteria, but how it goes is if there's a spouse, somebody that you're married to, they get first, they have top priority and normally will be named personal rep, unless of course they refuse it and pass it to somebody else, which nobody in their right mind would do because you're just fucking yourself. Sure, you can be held liable, but just do it right and you'll be fine. Otherwise, you take the chance of having some other motherfucker fuck you, which they'll do. What did you say, slow boy there? Poor dog was old. As her and had a huge abscess wound. Oh man, throwing up. Yeah, when they get like that, you guys, the best thing you do is take them out back and put a bullet in the head. And I've done that before. And so it's sad, but I've done it and you got to do it. You just can't let them sit there and suffer. What the fuck? Joko, yes, you're right. They would have to pay you for, yeah, see? And it says that right in the statutes that the person who is conservator has a right to even charge the estate. This is why they have to hire caretakers and shit like that. And that's average of $17 an hour. So no small thing for a year and a half's worth of fucking conserving and protecting, right? And I could tell she's grasping at straws, just trying to say, well, they could come at you for rent, which there is no statute stating any of that bullshit. It's all fucking made up, just like her whole thing, right? But there is a statute that says the conservator has a right to be paid and reimbursed for expenses that he's incurred. So, and I have it all down. I know exactly what to put into it, and the court will be honor bound to pay my ass back, no matter what. Right? And not only that, the others are disqualified. No matter what they say or do, they cannot be considered for personal rep by the law, by the very law that they made up in their little fucking fakey fucking bullshit, right? So, oh yeah, I got this shit in the bag. Like I said, the only way that I could lose is if it's just an outright going against all laws and because they're bribed or something, right? Which is going to be very hard for them to do and get away with, because I will not go lightly. And so after taking grounds, the house is an hourly late, plus money you pay for lights. Yeah, all of it. Add it all up, and I get paid. I got top priority, because there's no spouse or anything, and there's nobody that can enact survivorship or homestead enactment or family enactment or anything like that, right? There's all these little fucking things. I've learned them all. And you can tell by the way I'm talking that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So if anybody could claim survivorship, it would be me, because my mother and I actually had a domestic relationship, not a marriage, of course, but something similar, right? Sad part is Alaska doesn't recognize anything common law like that. So I cannot enact survivorship. I mean, I could, but it'd probably be declined. But I don't need to, because I've already found everything I need to shoot that shit down. And see, if there is some semblance of a will, the court has to use it rather than go no will, right? Literally part of their fucking subsections. There is a will, because everybody's got to make every fucking effort to find a will if there is one. And if there is one, it can't just be tossed right the fuck out off somebody's opinion. Now, that isn't how it works, kids. And I knew that to begin with, but I just need to know how to petition the court properly to have them validate, which I haven't done yet because I didn't know how, but I do now. I have plenty of time to do it. I'm grateful, just like that kid judge told me, about 30 years old. He said, because I was like disappointed. I said, what? A year and a half, we're not even getting to the hearing. He goes, hey, be happy that you got a dry run. And I was like, yeah, right, great. I thought he was making a joke, but no, 100% correct. I'm so grateful I got that dry run, because it got me to thinking enough to where I figured out exactly what to do. And I wouldn't have, I mean, I wouldn't be able to petition the court to validate the holographic will until I was in the hearing, which would then prolong it, right? But now that I have that, I'll have that in before the hearing. They'll have no choice but to validate. Right? See, this is how it works. If you don't understand these little dotting the little I's, crossing the little T's, you stand a chance to lose. And I am definitely not risking that. Lawyer pay all bills in his parents' bank account. See, the bad part is those fucking, the contesters don't have to pay me back. The estate will have to pay me back. So it'll still come out of that, not out of their pocket. Like it's been coming out of my fucking pocket for the last year and a half, right? Yeah. And this is why they were doing that too, I think. I think they were just trying to starve me out until, I just give up or whatever, or at least they'd save a bunch of money until they swoop in and take over the whole thing and fuck me, right? And then I could tell they're already setting up how they could sue me and try to maneuver me out of anything that I might get. And I sure as shit, I'm not going to let that happen. So, and it's not going to happen because I now know the law. It's all up here, baby. That's what I've been doing every waking hour. And it's only taken me 4 days. 4 fucking days. Right? But true, every waking hour. I haven't done anything else but fucking study this shit. 4 days it's taken me to save $5,000 and guarantee that I win. Because I got it. Literally got it. I'm not going to tell you all of it because I got to keep that secret. Okay? But I got every fucking thing covered. Oh, yeah. Trust me. It wasn't just one little fucking law I was looking up. It's at least a dozen. Right? So there's 13 statements you have to make in your petition. Each one of them's got to be covered. Hey, do I sound like somebody who knows what he's fucking talking about? Oh, yeah. So, happy day here. But also, that's accompanied by bad news too. Sadly, I still haven't heard back from my nephew, man. I'm getting worried. I figured you at least fucking give me something, tell me he ghosted, right? But I'm starting to worry a little bit. So I fucking was desperate enough to even contact his sister, who's sadly she's suffering now. She's all, fucked up. And she was like, I could tell she was fucked up. I'm like, oh dear God, I just wanted to get his address, even just what counties he's in, so I can actually make a welfare call and try to start figuring this out. And she just fucking couldn't understand what I was asking her, right? And I'm like, can you just stop talking for just a minute, right? I'm starting to get frustrated. And finally, I'm just like, God damn it, shut up, right? And, oh, well, fuck you, right? Oh, drunken fucking people, man. Fuck. What the fuck is the matter with them, right? She kept jumping to the wrong conclusion and just blah, 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 blah. And I'd wait until she stopped and then I'd try to talk and blah, 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 right? Fucking stupid. But sent her a message after saying, hey, look, don't get mad at me. I didn't create this situation. I'm just trying to deal with it. So, that's had me kind of down. As soon as I get a little bit of happiness, boom. So the fucking piece of shit we call our society will come along and fuck me out of that one cunt hair moment of joy that I get. Were you the emergency contact when she was in the hospital that access power of rights to her last wishes? No, she was not in the hospital, my friend. No, she didn't die in some fucking Nazi sorcerer bed, bro. He wasn't fucking incontinent like some of my aunts were, laying in bed shitting themselves because they're all on medications that debilitate them. No. No. I came back in 2015 and got her on the supplements and started cooking her good meals and lifted her spirits. Got her off all that fucking Nazi sorcery. And she was fully incapacitated right until the last minute, which is I'm very grateful for, right? That's why it was so shocking to me, because she was in such good health and vitality and everything. There's no way I figured that she would pass. But you know what? I ain't in control of this fucking game. Guess who is? And when God calls you, sure as shit better answer. And in retrospect, I'm so grateful that because remember I've told you, there's a single particle of her residual energy here. I know that for a fact because there ain't no ghost here. She died the proper way in joy. See it in the look on her face and the shock and awe of seeing the Lord. I'm sure that I could just hear it right now. The Lord say, Caroline, are you ready to join me? And yes, Lord, right? Boom. Happiness gone. Fucking full power on the other side. Full power. So proud of her. So fucking proud of her. How many people can say that? Not many. That's why there's so many fucking ghosts in this world, because they leave they die unhappy, leave a particle of themselves here, therefore not having their full power on the other side. And I liken it into, if you don't have your full power on the other side, you're like a fucking gnat. You're like a little atom, a tiny speck of an amoeba in power of what you would be with your full power. Right? Exactly. It's something I fully believe in. Even if you see my last joke video where the guy gets killed by the kid, right? He says, oh, you just grounded me my full power, motherfucker. Right? Which is absolutely a farce, because it did look like the guy died happy, right? But he didn't even know he was dead. So that's the whole thing too, right? So my character, I'm a ghost at the end, right? In case you watched it. But it's pretty funny to watch. Acting with the puppets, getting prepared for bigger projects that I got going. Some of them stories that my mom wrote, right? That I feel, God, I'm just having this, urge that I need to do something with them and publish them, you know. And I think a lot of that was like, I'm gonna publish them before I get booted out of this fucking place, right? But that's not gonna happen because I did the work and I know exactly how to make that an impossibility. As a matter of fact, I've lived here long enough to where they cannot kick me out of my residence, even if I'm a squatter. Right? Even if I was squatting in this place illegally, winter is upon us, right? And if they kick you out of your home in winter, you could go out there and freeze, and they'd be responsible for your death. So this is why it's a danger here to take in any renters before winter, and most landlords won't, because if they stop paying rent, you can't kick them out till next spring when the fucking weather warms up and it thaws. Because you can't fucking put their life in jeopardy. Yeah, see, I know a goddamn thing about a thing or two, right? And that's an old one too. Nobody can get evicted in the winter, not legally, right? Because they can't do it. Once again, like I said, this is why fucking anybody who's got rental property, they never rent right before winter because they know they might get fucked. And so that's why it's hard to find a place to rent if winter's coming on, unless of course you put a gigantic deposit down. So not only that, but you know, fuck no. Yeah, imagine some cop trying to come here and say, "Oh, you're gonna leave." I'll be like, "Fuck you, dickhead!" Right? They can't do it, especially since I've established my presence here for over 30 years. That's what one of these dickhead fucking paralegals said too. Oh, you stay there that long, then the court starts to think that you did have influence over him. And I'm like, you fucking douchebag, right? Everything he told me is inconsistent with the law, as I found out in the last 4 days. I'm sitting there thinking back about everything that fucking dude told me, and I realized right away, of course, he's got to try to discourage me in order to convince me that I have to pay him $5,000 for him to fucking get up there and try to talk for me. And the dude couldn't even talk. Sounded like he was about ready to cough out a lung. He said, I'm sorry, I'm congested. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. You're a constant smoker. I can tell. Right? So I'm far more articulate than he could ever be, even in his best version. So that's what I should have been. I should have been a fucking lawyer. Right? And I almost was. I almost did it, but stuck on that stupid boat thing. Fucking, my aspiration was to be a litigator because I'd be the best one there's ever been. Yeah, because I can talk, as we all know. When more, I can tell you guys, gotta get some sleep. Yeah. Go ahead, man. It's 2:38 in the morning here for me. I'm not really that tired because I'm wired from doing all this fucking work and successfully accomplishing what I set out to do. So thank you so much for joining, bro, and for being there, man. Appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys. The only ones I get to talk to, right? And that's no shit. Literally, the only ones. That's why I said it was fucking kind of emotional talking to my brother today because I haven't talked to him in so long. And I literally said that. He goes, "Well, what do you want me to do?" I go, "You know what? I just want you to listen. Right? I just want to be able to talk to you. That's enough." Okay, well, and so you start to feel a little guilty. It's like, oh, worst comes to worst, you can stay on my boat if you want. And I'm like, fuck, right on, man. Yeah, fuck, that's awesome, right? I go, don't worry, it ain't gonna come to that, but thank you so much for saying that, right? And Joe Cross saying, yeah, you did good if she did happy. Yeah, that's not easy. No, it isn't. My girl's, oh no, I'm in the hospital, abscess on her hip and lower spine area. Been in antibiotics for 21 days in the hospital. The hospital sucks. Yeah, antibiotics don't work, bro. Sadly, do a little research on this. They do not. They do not. And she's got an abscess that's basically an infection. Yeah, but it's mostly internal. Dude, funny thing is, I saw a bit on YouTube about this. So one of those advertisements where this guy says, "I'm a doctor, but I have had it with the legal system because they don't teach you anything to keep you healthy. It's the sick system, right?" And I call it the death care. He called it sick care. Yeah, they're trained to keep you fucked, and you can help her what she probably needs more than anything is to have her thyroid reactivated, brother. That's what most women are suffering from, and most all of us are, but women are affected far more than men because they're far more dependent on the thyroid gland operating properly. So if you get the Survival Shield iodine, I got some of it. I'll show you. This is the sweet little number right here, Survival Shield X2. Don't show it to the doctor. They'll tell you not to take it because it'll save you. Get her on that, reactivate her thyroid within a week, and her body will be able to start producing the proper hormones it needs to heal itself from all of these type things. And so that would be step one. Get a water filter and start giving her filtered water instead of the toxin-laden fucking garbage that they're serving her in the Nazi Sorcerer Hotel. And that's going to help too. And also, you know, if you could possibly get her some, if she has not done it yet, get some of those foot pads you put on your feet to suck the toxins out that are all lying at the bottom of our feet, all the heavy metals and stuff. You see what's happening and what is afflicting everyone on this earth is they are laden with toxins, right? It's just like filling up a glass. You can only pour so many toxins in the glass before it overflows and expires, right? And that's what everybody's suffering from, a different level of toxicity. And so the more toxins you flush out, then the more healthy you're going to become, right? And lucky for me, I was super healthy before this happened because I'd probably be dead now from all this stress and bullshit if I hadn't been at peak fucking health before all this started. And so, finally caught up with the stream, right? Nice, right? Joe Carr says, fuck, she has thyroid problems. Exactly. Everybody does, bro. I'm not picking on her. She's not the Lone Ranger. Everybody on earth, because they literally took iodine out of the diet and replaced it with bromide, which is very unhealthy for you and will take the place of the iodine. Your body will absorb it like iodine, and it's bad for you. Right? Alex Jones taught me this shit, right? And that's why I still owe him a debt of gratitude, even if he's, you know, not always right, which he isn't. He's actually way more wrong than he is right now. But yeah, you get that iodine in her, and the body will have a chance to activate the thyroid gland and start creating the proper hormones that she needs to get. Because if your hormones are out of balance, everything else goes, right? It doesn't take much to do that. And they know this too, right? And this is why they purposely have everybody all fucked up so that they'll have constantly new, you know, more patient. You know, and all you have to do is look at statistics and see that they aren't fucking curing anything, right? They aren't. They're making it worse. So you got to get her out of that fucking Nazi Sorcerer Hotel, bro, because they're going to just keep her in that same fucked up loop of perpetual sickness and claim that, hey, we're trying, right? And see, my mom finally figured it out too when she had just a few hives on her arm there a few years back. And I was like, here, all you have to do is soak in some pine needle water and it'll go away. And I even made a bath for her and stuff like that with it. And she was like in and out of it just like that. And I'm like, what are you doing? Did you get in it? And she goes, yeah, I got in it. I'm like, we got to sit in there for a while. And she's giving me this sheepish look that she always gives me when she's going to go against her own instincts and something that I say. I could tell just by that stupid little crooked smile she would give. I was like, you're not thinking about going to the fucking Nazi Sorcerer Hotel, are you? And she, right? And I was like, don't do it. Don't do it, right? It's a couple hives, big fucking deal. Not dying. Right? Training. They got you trained. They got all of us trained. Free healthcare, free death care. So she went in there and they literally fucking started slamming fucking Benadryl and shit in her with those EpiPens and shit, which are really bad for you because they fucking literally go through, they'll fucking put that through your clothes, therefore injecting you with all the fucking bacteria that's on your clothes or on your skin, right? Really fucking bad for you. They should know better. But no. So yeah, they had her, she was in there for like 12 days for these stupid 3 little teeny hives that were on her arm. And get this, at the end of the 12 days, they still couldn't tell her what caused it. So, we still don't know what caused that. allergic reaction you had, but if it happens again, here, take all these. They gave her like 10 of these EpiPens. They make sure and jab that shit in your leg as soon as it happens, right? And I'm sitting there. I took those fucking EpiPens and I threw them in the fucking garbage. I said, don't ever fucking use one of those things. So, you got to take care of your mom at the end. Yep. That alone tells me that you shouldn't give the joke family members anything. I know, right? And that's the way I felt too, but that's just perpetuating the hate, the hatred, right? I'm not hating them, they're hating me. And I realize, of course, it doesn't matter what I do. I literally fucking give them a lung, right? Donate my liver. They'll still be stuck in that hate thing, but that's on them, right? They're creating their own hell. And that's the sad part too, is remember I told you, the universe doesn't take kindly to those types, and they end up pushing up daisies. I'm not trying to say that by anything that I do, they're doing it to themselves, right? They're creating their own hell. They're creating their own sickness. There ain't nothing I can do about it. I'm trying to do anything I can. And I know I can get to a couple of them, because by the end I will be able to, right? But there will never be any reaching my sister, because she has proven to me over and time again that she literally has no respect for me or anything that I say to her. She would literally discount, even if I said the sky is blue, right? Right, or whatever. You see what I'm getting at. I said, God is real, right? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. So the only strategy I can take with her is not to say anything to her ever again, because it's just going to perpetuate the bullshit within her, right? But see, and I've also realized a couple other things too. Just like my buddy CD said, they don't hate me, they're afraid of me. And I was like, wait, it took me a while to wrap my head around that one, man. And the answer is quite simple. What does a simple-minded creature do? They fear that which they don't understand. And they can't understand how I am so different, or can be so forgiving, whereas they're also hateful, right? And I am too. I mean, it's sitting right here right now. Even as they're all lined up to try to fuck me, I'm trying to figure out, I've already figured them, and I'm trying to figure out how to diffuse the situation, even if it costs me everything, right? Because I don't care. Fuck it. It ain't worth the hatred that they're transmitting through the universe towards me, right? Because that is actually affecting me. I know that for a fact. It's part of natural law. And so in order for me to save myself, I have to sacrifice. And so I'm 100% willing to do that. And I've already felt an enormous burden of relief on myself for just making that decision. So I'm not going to perpetuate the hate. So I've been sitting here going, oh, you fucking douchebags. Oh, you fucking cunt this. Oh, you cunt that. No, I let all that go. I said a prayer right before I came on here to the Trinity, the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, as well as the four directions, which are my allies, as we all know. Haven't talked to them for a while. And I literally stood before him and I said, look, come before you with all love, honor, and respect, and I'm letting it go. I'm letting all this go. So I'll sell today. I'll give it all to him. Just help me stop it. And so now they are honor bound to at least try. And that's the whole thing too, because these the four directions, the cardinal angels of this earth, what you can consider the hand of God, because God can't act directly, the creator can't act directly in this creation, but he acts through his representatives, which are the angels. And they are duty bound to at least try to enact my plea, because I gave it in all honesty. I literally crying when I did it. And so, most powerful kind of prayer there is. It's one that comes straight from the heart and is given in an emotional state, because as you may or may not know, emotion is the most powerful force in this known universe. Yeah, think about it. Emotion can make you do things that you would never do, but in that, maybe they call it the heat of passion, right? A crime in the heat of passion, like you kill somebody. but you would never do that. But your emotions were such that it overrode your rational mind, and well, emotion, the most powerful force in the known universe. And that can be concurred by the people who die improperly. They leave a particle of their forgotten emotion here, which becomes transcendent to time and space. Right? Their little ghost is still here. How? Emotion is the most powerful thing in the known universe. So that's why they always tell you, control those emotions. But they're ingrained into the avatar that we're using, that we call our physical body, which is just the dwelling place for your immortal soul. While they're connected until they're not. So that's what they mean by improve the dwelling place and you'll have a long life. Don't mean your fucking home. Don't build your home. No, improve your body, your temple of the soul. Took me a while to figure this shit out, but once I did, boom, that shit works like fucking gold. All right. And so now that I'm back into a positive state of mind and I can get back into my routine, you'll see that my health will bounce right back and everything will bounce right back on me. It always does. And I finally made that conscious decision that I don't give a fuck. I'm letting it all go and I'm forgiving. Yeah. It works like a champ. And it works every time. Cheers. So that's big news with me. Everything's changing. Tide's turning. And I could tell, especially was confirmed by the text I got from my sister. Right? She can feel it. Let's read it. Let me read it to you. It's fucking hilarious because if you may or may not know, I told you that her ex-husband, the one that she fucked around on and caused the dissolution of her first marriage and the breakup of her family for the new guy that she's married with now. Yeah, he's still working for her. What an idiot, right? He's paralegal. He prepared all the documents for him. And sadly for them, the petition that I put together literally will blow that shit out of the water. And as a paralegal, he's not a member of the bar and cannot enter the courtroom. All he can do is prepare paperwork, and anything that he prepares now will not have even one slight effect on the petition that I'm entering, because I know the law now, at least the law that's pertaining to my situation. Okay, so here's this little thing she sent. I asked Pat about the probate being a drawn-out procedure, right? See, projecting exactly what she's trying to do, right? Acting like she's not, right? No, they're trying to starve me out. He said that it is typical because there are steps mandated by the law to complete, which is true, but I know those steps now. Here's what he texted me. This is regardless, no matter what the judge decides about the old notes, right? But get this, she actually said old will notes. It's the very first time she's ever used that term. Usually it's just notes. She literally included the word will into it. First time on that. Tide's turning. And she said, just FYI, have a good weekend, right? Yeah. Oh, no, I'm just trying to steal everything from you and ruin your life. So have a good weekend. I love you, right? Fucking fraud. Creating your own hell. Literally. And then she says, we will take this step by step, beginning with the hearing in November. See, still totally oblivious to the fact that I know the law now and I know exactly what to do, and she doesn't have any idea that they have already lost. But she's telling me shit that I know, right? First day of publication, because you got to publicate the passing of my mom. So in case anybody has a claim against the estate, that they can file that claim and be, my mom owed a debt, which I know she doesn't. And so but you still have to go through these motions, right? And it says it takes 2 to 4 weeks for the publication to go through. And then you have to wait after that for people to come in. So typically it's about 4.5 to 5 months. And that's a little long, right? You can get it done in less than that. As a matter of fact, it should be done already. Had she been claiming she was going to do all the PR. Yeah. Why didn't she do anything else besides the the fucking motion to try to disrespect mom, right? It's the only fucking thing she did, and paid a mere $200 or something like that to start the probate. Fuck, I paid more of that in one fucking bill. Right? I've got thousands, 10, 20 times more than she's complaining. Well, I had to pay 200. Fuck. Can you see that shit? Can you see that shit? Oh, well, the 50 times the amount that you've had to pay doesn't make up for the 200 I pulled out of my pocket. Fuck you, you fucking. Now, I gotta stop that, right? Stop that cycle of hate. But I mean, it's hard to, because they have not even vaguely tried to consider what I'm going through, right? None of them could survive it. None of them could even survive fucking one day of being on their own completely, much less the year and a half that I've done. No. And that's what's got to kind of try to trip them out too. I mean, but not really that much, because these are just simple folk, right? Simple folk. They don't have the brain capacity for any kind of higher thinking. And that's why they fear me so much, because they can't understand how I do it. It freaks them out. And that's good. They should be freaked out. They're like little fucking gnats compared to the personal power that resides within me. So, do you think parasites could be in her? And if so, can ivermectin help that? Yeah, there's absolutely parasites within everyone. I just told you the iodine and the other things, that's just your first steps. But everybody should go through 6 weeks of the colon flush, which is pretty stringent. And I don't know many people who have done it. I'm one of the only. 6 weeks, right? And I've heard that you even should do even longer than that, because after like 4 to 6 weeks, they've just killed off the existing parasites. They have laid eggs that will hatch. And so yes, parasite flush, but that I don't recommend that her to start on that in her weakened state right now. This is why I mentioned get a water filter and start giving her good water, because everybody's going through life in a perpetual state of dehydration, because the water that we are consuming, the molecular structure is wrong. It's jumbled and your body can't even absorb it. So you might as well not even be drinking it. And so it's not anybody's fault. Just got to learn these things. I've studied this for a while and I've tested it all out on myself. So she needs to be rehydrated before she attempts to flush the colon, because that will dehydrate you, because it turns everything lodged within your intestinal tract into liquid, sucking the liquid out of your body, because there's only so much of it in there. It's constantly replacing itself. And when you're replacing it with water that you can't absorb, guess what happens? It doesn't get replaced. So you need to start getting some good water into her by the shitload. Get her rehydrated before she does any type of parasite flush. And ivermectin can help, but it's only good for one type of parasite, which are the worms. There's thousands of these, right? Thousands of different types, from microscopic organisms to things seen with the naked eye. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, that's good. And I was going to tell you about that later, but step one, baby steps, bro. Baby steps. Fucking body, when it's in the highly toxified state, very fucking weak, right? And anything can turn the tide for or against you. That's why you gotta be very careful when you begin these things, right? And you start with what I said. What you need first is to get the thyroid reactivated and get your fucking body creating proper hormones. I'm not trying to be mad at you or anything like that, bro. But yes, if you do not order a bottle of this today, then you're not serious. And I'm not trying to be mean to you, but I have to put it into those terms, because I'm telling you, man, I studied this. I went through it all. And I actually figured out the formula. One that even the inventor, the guy who created these things, doesn't even know. Dr. Group, who's a genius, don't get me wrong, he is. He didn't even know the proper order on how to use his own products. I heard him talking with Alex Jones about it. They say, oh, so what is the order usually? Alex says, and Dr. Group had this look on his face. I was just like, I was shocked myself. I was like, no the fuck way. The genius who created the shit doesn't even know how to use it. Wow. Mind blown, right? And so this is why I was desperately trying to get in touch with them, because I was going to give them the formula that they need so desperately. because they can't even sell their own fucking products because you take one look at Alex Jones and he looks like dog shit. And who's going to buy something from somebody who looks like they're about ready to fucking die? No one, right? And that's why they can't sell their own products, because they don't understand that concept. And they don't understand advertising at all either. I've seen some of the ads they made trying to save money. They need to hire a fucking genius advertising company to take over their whole thing. But no, they're trying to save a little money and doing their own stupid little ads, which literally drive the customers out the door. No kidding. I'm not kidding. Dude, I saw one that literally fucking flabbergasted me. And they thought they were being cute and witty. No, they were literally taking anybody who was on the fence that might have bought. They made the decision for them to never buy and never trust them. And you know what the ad was? Fucking retarded, right? Owen was sitting in his office and McBreen came in. Darren McBreen, one of the editors, Owen's one of the hosts. He came in and says, "Hey, Owen, I'm trying to finish up this report for you. And I wondering, you got any brain force?" And he's like, "Let me check." And he opens up his bottom drawer and it's just literally packed with brain force, right? And he goes, "Nope, I don't got any," right? And I was sitting there going, "Oh, you fucking retards," right? Because I understand these things. I understand what public perception is, right? And the feeling I got immediately right there is, look at these fuckheads at Infowars. He has a ton of it and he won't even share it with his friend, with his own coworker and friend. Won't even share it with him. No, he's going to lie to him and say he doesn't have any. And I just fucking literally turned the fucking thing off right there. And I went, "You fucking idiots. You fucking retards." Right? And they didn't even understand it. They thought they were being funny. No, you just literally drove everybody out the fucking door that was even thinking about it, because that reflects on their character. And if they can't even fucking help their friends, who the fuck are they going to help, right? Get it? Oh, fuck, man. Like I said, it's just like these bar owners who are totally tone deaf. They think, their idea is the only one that's good. And they literally drive the fuckers right out the door because everything's in public perception and they don't get it. And it's very frustrating for me because I've constantly pitched people the things that will work for them, and I'll have to argue that with you, right? I'm like, oh, God. I was telling this one lady, "Hey, if you want to have a show, you better advertise it. What do you got in your advertising budget?" And she said, "Yeah, I'll have to disagree with you." I'm like, well, go ahead and disagree with Ronald McDonald, the most successful advertising fucking campaign that's ever been created. All right? Because that fucking stupid fucking clown sells burgers. Right? Most successful advertising campaign in the history of fucking advertising is Ronald McDonald, because he's now he's only second to the most recognized figure on earth for children is Santa Claus, and Ronald McDonald's probably going to take him over here pretty soon. So the lesson there to you: you don't advertise, you don't get any customers because nobody knows what you're selling. Says, yes, they took her off the IV fluids for hydration after 5 days, and she is dehydrated. Damn right. Yeah, and not only that, but the IV is definitely not the way the body's designed to absorb fluid. Right? It jam it into your fucking veins. As a matter of fact, the body isn't designed to be poked by a needle ever, and that's why they have so many of them, because they know what it does, and it definitely will it'll weaken your immune system every time you poke the integrity of your skin in any way, shape, or form. That the largest organ in your body, the skin, that will weaken your immune system another degree. This is why I will never puncture my body in any way, shape, or form voluntarily, because of that. This is why I have no tattoos or no piercings or anything like that, because I respect my body, my temple. And once you start jabbing yourself with a needle, guess what? Your eye sees it, your brain knows it, and so your body knows it. Your body knows that you're fucking jabbing away at it. And so it reacts thusly. It sees that you don't care about it, and it will not give you health. So, I bless your water. That's good. That's good, but it needs to be filtered. You can restructure the water by thanking it or blessing it like you did. That's genius. And I do that too. I talk to my water even if I filter it. But you got to get that structure right. It does nothing to rid the toxins in the water. Right? It might over time. Matter of fact, it will, but it takes a while. And so you're still ingesting all those toxins, and they're still piling up on all the other toxins in there. And that is the problem. By the iodine, you get it from Infowars because they usually have a sale, and you can usually get it on sale. As a matter of fact, you might get one of these for $20. Otherwise, you're going to have to go to Global Healing Center, and it's not called Survival Shield there. It's called oh fuck, I can't remember. It's called some kind of iodine based name. He always puts Trex at the end of his shit. It might be Iotrex or some shit like that, but it'll be apparent, and it'll cost at least $30 there. So if you want to know everything that I'm going to tell you right now, go to my channel, find the playlist, it says click on me to live, and I literally lay it out in a series of videos exactly what you need to get and where to get it and what it's called. And so it's up to you now. I've told you exactly where you can find all the information you need to save yourself and her. And so now the ball is in your court. It's up to you to do the work. Like I've been sitting here reading fucking legalese for 4 days, doing the work that I need to save my ass. You're going to have to do the work too. All right. I'm not trying to be mean to you, but that's part of the process. If you're not willing to study and do the work and change your mind, then nobody can change it for you. And so I could tell you everything till I'm blue in the face, but not going to help unless you enact that decision on your own to go ahead and learn this and take responsibility for yourself and quit giving that to the Nazi sorcerers who are keeping you sick. Take your power back, right? I talk about this all the time. I know you're new and you haven't heard me preach about this, but everybody else who knows me knows that I preach. And I can sit there and like I say, every time you mention something, you see how I immediately tell you exactly what's going on. It's because I fucking been living this. Started doing this almost 20 years ago and rebooted my health. It only took me a few years to figure it out. It's not that hard to figure out, but you do have to do quite a bit of thinking. As a matter of fact, I might be the only person who figured out exactly how to do it. I'm pretty sure I am. And this is why I can't even give that information away, because it's so correct. And the universe or the society is literally burying it and fighting it. And your own mind will fight it because you'll think about it. Whereas you just can't do that. Start to try to use logic on it. Ain't gonna work, buddy. And like I said, I'm not trying to pick on you or anything or be mean. I've talked about this time blue in the face to so many people. And the frustrating thing is that I used to dedicate a lot of time to answering everybody's questions, blah, 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 and only to watch them just go back to Nazi sorcery and not do anything that I suggested, right? Not saying you're going to do that, but the percentage of people who actually go through with what I suggest is very small. And so through experience, I've realized that not a lot of people do it. Matter of fact, you go through my whole core group, there's only a few people who have actually even done the flush. Right? And so, but those who have done it have had enormous success and testify to that all the time. But I always say that the proof is in the pudding, but you don't get any proof if you don't use the pudding. It's that simple, right? And I laid out in the series as well that we're all under the exact same chemical assault, right? And I literally have a cartoon where it shows a family ducking down in a foxhole and bombs are exploding on them, and the bombs are BHT, BPA, plastic, all the glyphosate, everything, the toxins that we are inundated in just by breathing. All right, there's toxins in the fucking air you breathe. It's in everything you consume. All three vital substances substances you need to survive, the food, air, and water, are all laden with toxins. All right. And so you can filter your water, you can filter your air, but how the fuck are you going to filter your food? Right? Yeah. Unless you grow everything yourself that you ingest for the rest of your life. Right? And so you have to flush. Right? You have to defend yourself from the toxins that we all know we're ingesting. And if you are not defending, then therefore you are suffering, right? It's one or the other. You can't do both. And it's just, to me, it's so simple, right? But so many people just cannot absorb that concept that we're all under the same chemical attack. And if you do not defend yourself from these chemicals, you will be constantly suffering, right? How hard is that to understand? For me, common sense now, right? And this is why I constantly take these supplements, flush, filter my water, bless it, all that. I do all the formula, not just part of it, right? And I'm the only one, like I said, to my knowledge, that has done every step of what I suggest. It's going to cost you some money, right? It probably won't cost you more than $1,000 though. Very small price to pay. I know people who put $50,000 into the fucking car they drive. They won't put $5 into their body, their temple, right? Wow, mind blowing, isn't it? But there are I mean, the majority of people that are walking around, everybody that you know falls in that category. Because if you don't know anybody other than myself, probably, that is defending themselves from these toxins. So therefore, they're all suffering. And it doesn't matter. It's just like that saying, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Right? You got to make a conscious decision. And then you have to do the work. Right? Pretty simple fucking formula, but it's got to be enacted. Because if you don't enact it, what did I just say? You literally in the fucking series, I say you must be defending yourself like Bruce fucking Lee, or you are suffering. Right? Literally must be active defense of your body. So yes, you can suck out the infection with herbs by putting leaves on the skin, and the skin just put it out. Yeah, that also can help. True, good, but I'm not trying to contradict you. That will help, but if you do several of these things together, it's going to have a multiplying factor of success. It won't be adding like 2 plus 2 is 4. No, it'll be 2 to the second power, right? Which is like 10 times 10, right? See what I'm saying? You have to do, and they have to be done in the proper order. Like I said, if you do not rehydrate before you flush, your body will get more dehydrated and put you in grave danger, right? You'll start to get headaches and shit like that, and you will not want to do the flush, right? And not only that, but that's why babies die when they get diarrhea too bad, because it dehydrates them so quickly that the body shuts down. You know, you're not a baby, and we're not, and we have more mass than that, but it also puts you in that same weakened state, and you can be in that danger. So this is why I say you can't skip a step, and you can't act like I've so many people this, right? They always say, well, if you could just pick out one of these things you do, like, you know, what one would you do? And I used to say this, but I realized that's the wrong answer, because you must address your water. You got to address the water before you fucking do virtually anything. All right. You can take this, but it'll work much better if you're hydrated. Everything works better when you're hydrated, because that's the key. And I figured that out a long time ago. Address the water, step 1. And this is why I hazard to say anything more, because most people will just skip past the water and go to the next suggestion, which is the wrong thing to do. And they will end up causing themselves a little more damage than they do any good. Right. And this is why I laid it out perfectly in the series. And so, you know, just click on those videos. It's going to take you a few minutes to watch them. Not that long, right? I mean, take a little time out of watching this fucking video and watch the one that's going to help you. I'm just sitting here rattling on about my own bullshit. And what you need desperately right now is knowledge. And you need to enact that knowledge. I've laid it all out for you. Like I said, you got to make that decision. You got to do that work, or don't. And continue to suffer like everybody else on earth. It's that simple. It's a very simple formula, bro. If you're not defending, you are suffering. Can't do them both. Oh, God, I mean, it's so simple. But yeah, address the water immediately. It's going to cost you. You can get I use the Astringent Alex Pure filter for the water I drink, and a less expensive Crystal Quest filter for the water you shower in, because you will be absorbing up to 50% of the water that you're showering in right through your skin. And not only that, but the chemical laden water that you're showering in is in the steam that you're breathing, right? Those chemicals are right in that steam. You're breathing it right in. It's getting right in your bloodstream immediately, just like shooting up. Yeah, fucking fucked up, isn't it? Yeah, so you need that shower filter desperately. Some people like to say they're going to skip that. No, I say if you're going to buy any filter, buy that one. Why? Because you can literally fill a water pitcher off the shower head, and at least it'll be filtered, right? And that's how I started out. I couldn't afford one either. I bought the $40 filter because it saved my skin from the chloramine that they added to the water in Ketchikan, which was ruining everybody's skin and literally eats the rubber stopper out of your fucking toilet. What do you think it's doing to you? The largest organ in your body, skin. It's ruining my skin. I had all these conditions, dandruff, and fucking looked like a fucking Howley in fucking Hawaii, right? Bought the $40 filter, and all those conditions went away. So it became common sense to me right? And proof is in the pudding. Don't get any proof. Don't use pudding. So go to Crystal Quest today. You can look right up online. You can buy a shower filter for a mere $40. $40. Save your fucking ass. Right? It was a no-brainer for me to save my skin. I bought 3 of them. Okay. And I literally gave a couple out to my family members so that they could, I literally installed it for them so that they would be defended from that fucking toxic water, whether they wanted to or not. And immediately they saw a result and went, God damn, that shit does work. I'm like, see, not lying to you. And so go there right now. Crystal Quest, look it up, get their cheap little filter. It's only $40. Get that fucker and install it immediately and start to fill your water bottles directly from it. And you'll at least have filtered water. And then you can write thank you on the containers, which will give it your intention, which will structure it properly that your body can absorb it. Or, like you said, bless it. You can bless it. The secrets of the universe are in frequency and wavelength. The frequency, the sound of your voice will literally go through the water and alter its molecular structure. That's crazy enough to work, isn't it? Everybody thinks I'm insane. They're the fucking insane ones, not defending themselves from all the well-known toxins that are in everything, right? The debilitating toxins that it's the base core of every disease known is clogged and spastic colon. All right. All of us have it. Not your fault. We all have it. If you've ever eaten food, you got it, because a little bit of residual food will stay in your intestinal tract for every meal. So after a godzillion meals, that fucker's clogged, and your colon cannot absorb the nutrients that it needs. As a matter of fact, it's a breeding ground for parasites, and they're excreting in your colon, and therefore they're eating your nutrients, and you are absorbing their excrement. The root of all disease. I know nobody wants to talk about this uncomfortable subject, but it's absolutely 100% the truth. And your body has no chance until you address it. Okay. Literally have no chance. Now, you might get a temporary respite. The Nazi sorcerers will literally mask the symptoms you're suffering from with oil, because 95% of all pharmaceuticals are based from the petrochemical, which is oil, because it was started by Rockefeller, who owned Standard Oil. What do you have a lot of? Oil. Do a little bit of research, you'll figure this out. Doctors are prescribing everybody on earth oil. And that's very bad for you, because the fucking body isn't a car, bro. It doesn't need oil. So, I know, right? So fucking weird, isn't it? Yeah, I know I sound like a broken record, but doesn't matter. Whatever you throw at me, I can throw out the exact answer, because I've lived this, right? And enact it. I don't talk the talk. I walk the walk, right? And so, yeah, the herbs and shit like thing, yeah, it's gonna help. But if you can't absorb the herbs in your digestive tract, how much are they gonna help? Right? Right? That's why these nutraceuticals help immediately, because they don't have to go through your digestive tract. Your body can absorb them before then. Liquid nutraceuticals, right? Anything powder is going to have to go through the digestive tract. Ain't going to have much of a chance. So, you put the herbs, like saying, on the skin. Excellent. Great. Get some comfrey, right? Get some different things like that. You can get a poultice. That'll help too. But once again, I'm going to return to it over and over again like a broken record. Body needs hydrating. Needs that water. Whether you believe it or not, you got to rehydrate. That will start the motion of the healing, and then activate the thyroid immediately. And then after you get your body going in the proper direction, you can withstand the flush, which will take a toll on your body if you're not hydrated and if it's not moving correctly. It will take a toll on you. I've seen it time and time again. People who skip it, they'll start that fucking, even people who will start the iodine, because as soon as you take the iodine, you go to feel it, right? You'll get like head rushes and shit like that. And everybody gets scared. Oh God, I don't know what's happening. No, your body's going, fuck, thank God. This thing I've needed forever, I'm finally getting it. Oh, it'll react. Be ready for that. Yeah. But like I said, watch the video series after we're done here, and you'll know just as much as I do. Yeah. It's all laid out there in six separate videos that address different subjects and in the order that you need to address them personally. Starting with water, you got to watch the documentary "Water: The Great Mystery" right here on YouTube. Will blow your fucking mind. That's where I learned that every fucking molecule of water has like 200,000 memory cells. Right? Mind blowing, right? Making water basically memory. And it remembers every process it's been through. It's been through the sewage system. It is sewage. It's not water. Right? And it's been through the modern municipal pipe system, which takes 90-degree turns every few inches. And 90-degree turns do not exist in nature. And this is why the molecular structure is confused by the time it gets to you, and it is unabsorbable by the body. Right? It's an insidious system they set up, but it's effective. So anyway, it's 2 hours. I'm running out of shit. It's 3:21 in the morning. I myself, I'm gonna try a few drops of iodine. Put it right on your tongue for best absorption, but maybe not right away. I used to put it in water glass, put 3 drops in a glass of water and shoot it down. Because it takes a while to get used to the taste, and not only that, but I'm going to hit you, right? So take it for a little while in water before you switch directly to ingesting it directly on your tongue. So there's a few things that you can start along with the water, and one of them is CBD oil, right? You've heard of it, I'm sure. CBD oil won't take a toll on you and will help you even in a dehydrated state. And yeah, this stuff also helps. But like I said, if you start doing the flush, that's going to be counterproductive. And so you can also take super male vitality and shit like that right away. Oh, also for you, brother, get some Shilajit, what they call Shilajit. Bruce Lee swore by it and ate copious amounts of it. I don't think I have any of it right here. It's upstairs by my hot water because I keep it upstairs by the hot water thing. And in the morning, I heat up some water, put a little Shilajit in there. It's like black tar, baby, and it tastes exactly like it. It's a mineral compound that's found oozing out of the mountains. I get mine from the Altai Mountains because I like the Altai Mountains, but you can get it from the Himalayas too. Not that expensive. You can find it on eBay. Get a little jar of it, put a little bit of it in the water, melt it down in the morning, and drink it. Much easier to consume because it tastes like shit. You put some honey in it, some raw honey, none of that shit from fucking Walmart. Sell some good raw honey. It's expensive, but it's the only healthy sugar there is. All right. And the Nazi sorcerers all say, oh, don't eat sugar, it'll fuck you up. Right. No, don't eat bleach white sugar, but consume as much honey as you can. My formula in the morning is some Shilajit, some honey, some bee pollen, and some raw cinnamon, which will help you to rebuild the cartilage in your knees and elbows and other things. So Shilajit, it will also very powerful. It's like I got a fulvic acid or something like that in there that will set your body back in motion. I see you mentioning chalk right now. I took chalk too. I wouldn't recommend it. This stuff is watered down and expensive as fuck. Now you buy one of those little bottles, got 30 caplets in it. It's like fucking $2 a cap. No, I do not buy chalk. Sure, the 7 Wonders, sure, they're selling stuff that works, but they're selling it in such a watered down form, and so there's so much fillers in it, and selling so little for what they're charging for it that it is definitely not worth the money. Yeah, and chalk, they got a good salesman though. That guy sure shit, man. He convinced me too. I bought, like, I don't know, 60, $80 of the shit. And as soon as it arrived, I went, what a fucking ripoff, right? Because I could tell they were so light, there wasn't any product in it. And I took the shit and I didn't feel any effect from it. Unlike these other ones, the nutraceuticals, you'll feel an effect from them right away. I didn't feel shit from that chalk shit. Matter of fact, I think I still have some of it sitting around here because I just stopped taking it. And the Shilajit especially, do not get that. See, Shilajit mushrooms. Is that what they're selling? Dude, Shilajit is not mushrooms, right? It is not. It's 100% different than a mushroom. So if they're selling it with mushrooms there, that just shows that Shilajit is expensive. But if you get the stuff on eBay straight from the Altai, that's cheap as shit, man. It's like $30 a little jar. fucking that little jar will last you for a year. So, and not only that, but it's in this concentrated form. That stuff they're selling at Chalk is less like, I mean, it doesn't even look like black tar, right? And that's why I knew immediately they got a great pitch, but they're selling you fucking mostly filler, and it's not. I mean, there's a little bit of the good stuff in there, but not enough to make it effective. So I would not recommend Chalk at all. I'm glad you brought that up, and I think I actually mentioned that in one of the videos. So yeah, you're gonna want to get your stuff directly from Dr. Group, who developed the formulas. As far as the super male vitality and this iodine and all that shit goes. See, this iodine's from deep earth. It's deep earth crystals, right? Comes from the companies that drill for oil have to get it. So it's super expensive, right? But it's the only shit that works. Right? That's the whole thing about it, right? I remember years ago, man, I had tried so many different fucking supplements, I literally gave up. Especially on the colon flush, right? Because none of it worked. It was all a bunch of fucking fraud. It was all a bunch of hype. Never found anything work. I literally gave up. And then that's when I found Infowars, and the first product I ever bought, the iodine, and it made me feel so much better and was so effective that I decided to start to buy some other stuff. And I bought what they used to have, this thing called Liver Shield. I bought that, and then that's when they added chloramine to the water, and I was like, "Fuck, I got to do something about this." And I wonder if Infowars, sure shit, they add water filters. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Ordered some water filters, and boom. That's when things really started to change for me. So, oh, Jack Torrance in the house, my brother, headed to work at Jackstream. I know, right? I've just been rattling off. I got done with the important part of the Jackstream earlier, so I'm talking now. But yeah, I rattled off, got a bunch of shit off my chest. Tide has turned. I know probate law now. Probably know probate law better than most lawyers, right? Because that's all I've been doing for the last week is studying probate law, and I learned how to win the fucking case. Well, the court will be obligated to follow its own rules, and therefore putting the advantage into my court. They could actually be corrupt and rule against me, but they're sure as shit going to have to go against all their own laws. And that's what the court system is. It's so convoluted that they keep it that way. So that way the common person will know how to, you gotta dot the T or dot the I and cross the T, or, whatever. Gotta do all that perfectly. If you don't, you might not, the document might not go through, right? And so you have to do everything perfectly. And they keep it that way on purpose so that the layman will get frustrated and not be able to figure out the little nuances. Like the term that I shared earlier. And I'll ask you, Jack, before you leave. Do you know the term stare decisis? It's Latin, right? Legalese. And they do that on purpose. Rather than just calling what it is, use the Latin term so you'll be confused. Stare decisis. So if you haven't heard of it, just take a guess. Take a guess, bro. It's probably one of the most commonly invoked, well, not the term, but the action that it represents is one of the most commonly invoked things in a courtroom. And if you've ever watched a court television show, you've seen this. That should be the vital clue that you need. But I won't keep you guessing. You know how people constantly refer to a prior case that set the precedent? Stare decisis means prior decisions, right? That set the precedent, normally from a higher court than the one you're in. And therefore, if you draw their attention to it, you quote stare decisis from a previous case, that normally they'll follow that. They're not bound to, but they will normally follow it because they got to show that the court, this fucking convoluted fucking piece of dog shit that we're stuck in, has some type of structure, right? And in the Supreme Court history, only 145 cases have not adhered to the recommendation of the precedent, right? Yeah, I'm learning my shit, bro. And so one of the easier terms is fuck, now I've been thinking about all this shit. I just forget them too, right? Prima facie. Prima facie means by face value. Sounds, fancy, right? But actually, it doesn't hardly mean shit, because you enter things in the court prima facie, which means by face value. Really doesn't even carry that much weight. Not even really convincing about it. You're just saying it's just the face value, right? Get it? And motion, when you make motion in the court, very small action in the hierarchy of power of actions in the court. Motion is one of the most common ones, carries very little weight. And that's all they've done. The petition that I'm going to enter is a little higher on the food chain and will decimate the motion. Especially since I'm quoting all the statutes for there's 13 points in the petition that I'm entering, and I've got them all covered. Right? I'm starting to sound like somebody who might have an idea what he's talking about, because that's what I've been doing every waking hour for the last 4 days, is inundating myself in these statutes. And the Supreme Court case that actually affirmed the holographic will that hadn't even been signed, and those are the only one of the two things that it has to have is a signature, and the material portion of the will must be in the testator's hand. Those are the two things that make a holographic will. Doesn't validate it, but it allows it to be validated, right? Everything's got to be in fucking legalese. There's always got to be an alleged, right? And I'm learning all this at a very quick rate. As a matter of fact, saved myself $5,000, and I know more about the law than the fucking piece of dog shit fucking paralegal that I was just talking to, because everything he told me was contradictory to the fucking law, right? Oh, fuck. It's crazy, bro. I'll fill you in later. Have a great day at work, man. It was cool seeing the shop. Make a couple more of those videos, man. Love the shop. Love to see that. Love to see you working. A little glimpse into your world, bro. That's always awesome. Fucking A. Do it again. And so, yeah, I was about ready to jump off anyway. I've been on for a couple hours, and it's 3:32 in the morning here. I should probably take a little nap ski. I've been up. I mean, literally, I stayed up for 48 hours when I got stuck into this loop of the law, right? Literally have read every fucking statute, Alaska statute, that is related to my case, which are quite a few, bro. And I found each and every one of them that I can apply. And so therefore, I no longer don't know what to do. I know exactly what to do and exactly how to do it. And not only that, but I can write pretty good, and I'm very articulate. Far more articulate than any fucking attorney that I've talked to, because I've talked to more attorneys in the last fucking few weeks than I ever have in my lifetime, but in times by 10. And not one of them can articulate as good as either one of us, bro. All right. Let me tell you that right now in 100% honesty. Not a single one of them can articulate like either one of us. Right. Some of them were stammering, fucking stuttering motherfuckers. And I was just like, dear God, who the fuck do you think you're going to help? Right. But no, they fucking studied enough to pass that fucking bar, right? Which is a fraud, as we know. Like I said, in the last 4 days, I've learned more about probate law than any one of these motherfuckers I've talked to, because I literally immersed myself in it and absorbed it like a sponge, because I have that capacity. I'm not trying to brag, just telling you that lucky for me, I flushed out the toxins out of my brain, and now it can fucking absorb the shit. And so that's why I was able to learn it very quickly. And right now I've got, whereas last week I didn't know shit about this. Now I know virtually everything about it, right? Because it when it boils down to it, it is a set of laws and it is a set of rules that all have to be followed in the exact order, just like doing the flush, bro. You got to do it right, or it doesn't really work. And so I've learned all that. I've literally fucking looked at every fucking thing I need to do and covered everything and did it in the right order and in the proper language. Yeah, you even got to say it right. So I have 100% confidence in what the petition that I'm entering, because it's going to be proper and articulate. And they're literally going to look at it and go, who'd you hire? Right? I know that's what they're going to say, because they won't be able to understand that a layman like myself was able to understand this and enact it. And it's like I said, after I immersed myself in it so long, I started to understand it. I mean, at first I was like, this is fucking retarded, right? But I persevered. That's why this stream is called Be True to Yourself. And I stuck with it. And it started to make sense. And now, fuck, you hear me just laying out exactly what I'm talking about immediately, almost like I knew what I was talking about. And I'm not done yet either. I'm going to continue studying all this shit. So that way, when I do get my moment to speak in court, I'll be able to say those exact right terms, such as like when you start out, you don't have to do this, but the court likes it when you say, if it pleases the court, right? That means is it okay for me to speak? Right? If it pleases the court, and then the judge will usually nod. And then you tell them, and if you can include their little fucking faggy Latin terms, then they're going to be real impressed, right? Especially if you pronounce them correctly. Stare is pronounced is spelled S-T-A-R-E. I thought it was stare at first, but I knew that was wrong. So I watched a YouTube video that gave me the pronunciation. Stare, right? Stare decisis. Yeah, that's prior precedent. I know, right? Why can't you just say that? Anyway, big love to everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I didn't mean to be like preaching or anything like that. Sorry about that, Joe Crow. I sure hope that you go in and watch the videos that I laid out, each and everything that you should do, and in the order you should do it. And please don't skip a step. And please, part of the process is learning about these things, because your mind will see that you have a desire to learn this and enact this, and therefore will help you. And you will be far much better off than if you go and half-heartedly not believing and stuff like that. Really gonna have effect on you. And as we end, I'm gonna go ahead and cut back over to Slow Boy's channel where I was earlier and watch a couple of those cool shorts he had. And I'm wondering if there's a video that you would like me to click on that we can watch as we close down. If you're still in the room, go ahead and throw me up which one I show. You got movies on here too. Oh, that's right. I remember that. I watched one of these a long time ago. Oh, fuck yeah. But I see videos. If you want me to put on a video, I'll put it on. If you want to put on a short, I will do that as well. Looks like that one that was right after it, they will say anything on the teleprompter. It might be a good one too. So let me know. I still got all the Alaska statuettes pulled up on here. If you guys feel like you want to go to sleep, I will read one of them to you, and it'll definitely lull you to sleep. Let's just read the one I have up. This is the one that my sister was completely deceptive on from day one. She said that she was going to apply for a personal representative, right? Which is different than executor, but actually means the same thing. That's the term I used to know, right? Personal rep. And she kept saying, "No, it's just a name. It doesn't mean anything. You have no power. It's just like, it means like the person that will put in the paperwork. That's all. You want me to hear? Here, I'll read the definition for you. And this is from the last statute, section 13 subsection. I'll just read the dots. 13.16.390. And it's called powers of personal representatives, semicolon, in general. And this is the statement. Until termination of appointment, a personal representative has the same power over the title to property of the estate that an absolute owner would have, comma, in trust, however, I know, it's always something, for the benefit of the creditors and other interested in the estate. This power may be exercised without notice, hearing, or order of the court. That's a very simple one, right? There's only one little however in it. Most of them have 3 or 4 of them. But there you go right there. Absolute fucking power. Just like you're the owner. You have godlike powers. Yeah, far cry from having just being the guy who puts in the paperwork. It means nothing, right? Lie. That's all I've heard from her from day one. I literally have the proof of this, and I am literally going to print out this deceptive type stuff that she has sent me, because that also has, it also affects the motion that I'm putting in. Literally, I can read, if I can pull up the other one, I look at my notebook, read the other statute that says anybody seeking to be personal representative or has been appointed or seeking to be, the key term, cannot be appointed if they have been deceptive in the steps leading up to appointment. Okay, when I found that one, I was like, oh, fucking gold, right? Fucking gold. So, right? Yeah, it's a bunch of convoluted, fucking hard to understand rules. But if you can get it, you can understand it, and you can do it right. And there's always something in the rules that you can use for whatever situation you're encountering. You just got to know them. And so up until a week ago, I knew none of this shit. Absolute zero. Right? Had no idea. Had no idea that, okay, get this. The holographic will that I entered into court, all it is entered. It's just sitting there. I thought that they would look at it. No. I literally have to file a petition for them to be allowed to validate the will, right? And they can't do that until then. But of course, nobody's going to tell you that. And so I sure as shit would have had, I might have lost just on that technicality alone. And that's why I kept telling these fucking mouthpiece fucking fuckheads that want $5 grand. I'm like, look, I don't think they've done a proper argument, but I don't want to lose on technicality. My instincts were right. Could have lost. But now, impossible, because I know exactly what to direct the court to do. And they won't do it until the petition is put in properly and they are directed to do it, right? So yeah, let me grab this fucking just one of these papers. Okay, this is my notebook. You can see how many pages that I have. These are just a few of them, not all of them. These are pages that I've got that are covered with statutes, just like the one I read. They're all preceded by AS, which means Alaska statute. And then they have a section, a subsection, and a case. And then sometimes they have little letters, okay, which mean, another subsection. Okay, let's read something that might be, see, some of them just have vague things that I didn't think I wanted to pass up, but other ones go directly with what I'm saying. Here's one. Alaska Statute 13.16.395. Improper exercise of power, breach of fiduciary duty. If the PR improperly exercises that power, the PR is liable to the interested persons for the damage or loss resulting from the breach of fiduciary duty, right? Basically, this means, if you don't exercise the power properly, you could be held responsible. The absolute power that you get is PR. So, it's a million of different little things that all pertain to different things. Let's go back to page 1 and see what I got here. Okay, Statute 13.12.555. Declaration by the court. The court may declare a will or trust to be valid or make other findings of fact and conclusions of law that are appropriate under the circumstances. What the fuck does that even mean, right? After the testator's death, unless the will is modified or revoked after the declaration, the will has full legal effect as the instrument of the disposition of the testator's estate and shall be admitted to probate upon request. All right, all that just to say they admitted it. They didn't validate it, right? No, got to do an entirely different process to validate the will that has been entered. The little thing that I didn't know, that's why I had the doubt, right? So luckily I did all the studying and I know how to petition the court to validate the will, and therefore, they entered it. That's all they did, is just sit there entered. The burden of fucking validation is upon me, the person who admitted it. Nothing that I didn't know, but I do know now, and I'll be able to fix that, right? See that whole mouthful of bullshit just to say that they can take in a will. Next one, 13.16.015. Necessity of appointment for administration except as otherwise provided in Alaska Statute 13.21, right? Another sub rule that you got to look up totally separately if you want to find out what it is. To acquire the powers to undertake the duties and liabilities of personal representative of decedent, a person must be appointed by order of the court or registrar, and they must qualify and be issued letters. Administration of an estate is commenced by the issuance of letters. Okay, hear all that bullshit? So if you don't prove that you pass all these things, you won't be issued that letter, and you will not be appointed. Right? Right? It's all bullshit. It's all just a fucking convoluted bunch of bullshit. LS Statute 13.16.065, a personal representative appointed by the court of the decedent's domicile, and that sounds like it means home, but they're looking at the larger meaning of the state that you live in, but it also can be defined as home. This is why I included this one, right? Of the decedent's domicile has priority over all other persons except where the decedent's will nominates different persons, right? So if you're naming the will to be the PR, then you'll have priority. But if nobody's named in the will, then the person who shares the domicile will have a little more priority, right? They'll be a little more at the top of the heap. Also, you get a little more if your interest in the will, like whatever you're getting from it, the value of which is greater than 50% of the entire estate, you go to the top of the heap too. Guess who does that? So little things like that. If you know them, you can petition the court to follow those rules. But if you don't, they don't have to, right? See, this is why it's such a shit show. And this is why they can rig it against you so easily. So literally have pages and pages and pages of these statutes that I've written down. And each and every one of them sounds just like that fucking what I've been reading. Hard to understand fucking bullshit, right? And you literally got to think about it to figure out what they're actually saying, right? Luckily, I've been inundated with so much that I literally understand exactly what they're fucking saying mostly. But some of them are really weird. Here we go. This is the one that I got to get right now, and I have to have enacted when I put this in. Last statute 13.16.310, special administrator appointment. A special administrator may be appointed informally by the registrar, right? That doesn't mean the judge has to make a ruling. The person who takes in the documents, the registrar, can actually appoint a special administrator. Okay? They make this confusing for a reason. It says, may be appointed informally by the registrar on application of any interested person when necessary to protect the estate of a decedent before the appointment of a general personal representative, right? So in case nobody's, the PR decision can be put off for years, you can get special administrator powers, which has the exact same power as the PR, just in a little bit of a limited way to, do what I'm doing, protect the assets. It says any person may be appointed, but an executor named in the will has priority. But that's kind of true as well, because any person who has actually already demonstrated that they have done things that are against the well-being of the estate has disqualified themselves to be appointed as either an administrator or a PR, right? It's made confusing for a reason, right? And so, like I said, you don't know anything about even one point unless you know everything about it, which at least has to be even just one ruling is addressed by at least 3 or 4, if not 7 or 8 statutes, right? And you got to know them all. So this is why only these fuckheads that have passed the bar are allowed to practice, right? Yeah. This is a good one right here. Wait, no, that's not the right one. I want to find the one that says that, so that way you can see exactly what I'm saying. Because it is okay, here we go. That's statute 13.16.295B. Cause for removal exists when removal would be in the best interests of the estate, or if it is shown that the personal representative or person seeking appointment, that's the key in this one, the person seeking appointment, in other words, my sister, intentionally misrepresented material facts in the proceedings leading to the appointment, the lies she's told, or that the PR has disregarded an order of the court, has become incapable of discharging the duties of the office, and here's the key, or has mismanaged the estate or failed to perform the duties, okay, pertaining to the office, which means paying the taxes first and foremost, and then the expenses to it. So refused to do that, so has failed that one. And that can be applied to person applying to the PR. It doesn't necessarily have to be the PR. That's the key one for me. Therefore, through her own actions, having disqualified herself to serve. Took me I found that one just right before I came on the stream. Key. Like I said, this is just a small particle of the ones I've ever written down. And I'm literally going to go through them again and make sure that they're all perfectly legible and everything. Some of them I have a little hard to read, so I might even take copies of them and literally print them out, so that way I can just bam, bam, bam. Very articulate, even much more articulate than I already am. And so, yeah, that one was key to part of my petition. Not all of it, just part of it. And then check it out. Here's the notes on them. And fuck, man, I mean, it's got literally fucking pages and pages of this shit around here. Okay, some of these are just mostly my notes, but fuck, are all the law pages? Here. These are them, and they actually have with the order of what I got to do. And here is what the petition I have to do is called Petition for Will Validity under Alaska Statute 13.12.530 must contain the following statements. There's 13 of them. All right. They don't contain these in the proper order. Okay. 13 fucking statements. And then you have to, basically, if you want it to be more successful, you have to literally have the backup for each one of them in there. And the most exciting one that I found, of course, for this is the stare decisis, or the decision of the Supreme Court in 2016 in the matter of the estate of Alva Marie Baker. Supreme Court number 5-15971, Superior Court case number 3AN-14-00397PR, opinion number 7143-December 30, 2016, states that they have affirmed her holographic will, which had not been signed, ruling that her printed name in Mrs. Baker's signed writing served as a signature. Furthermore, the quoted commentary from one Uniform Probate Code Practice Manual, published by it just says ALIABA. I had to look that up, right? And that means American Legal Institute - American Bar Association, right? ALIABA. In subsection 2-503 2D ED.1977, before enactment by the Alaska State Legislature, see Lobskog versus American National Red Cross 111 F.2D88, 9, Alaska 670 in 1940. Okay. In reference to Holland's Estate 10 Alaska 557 from 1945, and in reference to Leonard's Estate 9 Alaska 535 from 1939. Right there, I just invoked stare decisis in not just one, the Supreme Court case, but 3 other supporting cases, which is going to be nearly impossible to argue against. Bam, bam, bam. Kind of sound like somebody who knows what you're talking about, right? So yeah, very exciting for me, but has been a fucking pain in the ass for me to do all this. But as you can see, pages and pages of statutes and notes pertaining to them, and including the legalese required to state it. That's a fucking thing. That's a pain in my fucking ass, right? But guess what? Exactly what I needed to do. So Anyway, all right, we'll close this down. I want to thank everybody for joining. Thanks so much for spending some time with me on this wonderful Jackstream. And I'm going to, once again, sound like a broken record, and encourage you to boost your immune system now. Go out and get those products you're going to need. Pretty soon we ain't going to be able to get them, right? And so that's why you're going to want to get them now and, start using them. Okay, I see. Finally, I see. Oh, sorry, Joe. What is the Ringing Cedars about? Give me a 3-minute breakdown. Yeah. Ringing Cedars Russia is a book series by Vladimir Megra. The subject matter is about a character called Anastasia, a lady that lives in the Siberian forest and is from the Vedic community of an ancient culture that existed only in Russia back before when it was the center of the known world. But they have concepts in the Ringing Cedars of Russia that have been long forgotten, ancient technology that is far superior to anything that we know or do in the modern world. And as example, I'll give you the most famous concept from it. And that is, it's going to take, I can try to get it out in 3 minutes. Okay. A seed, like a seed to grow any plant, little bitty seed, has more information about the universe than anything created by human hands or ever will be. By far, it's not even comparable, because that seed has all the information it needs to grow into the plant or the tree that it's going to be and produce fruit and all that, right? From a teeny little seed, smaller than a computer chip, right? Will create this gigantic fucking tree that'll live for 1,000 years. Yeah. Nothing will ever compare to the amount of information contained in the seed. But even though it has so much information about the universe, it also needs supplementary information in order to grow to its optimum capability. And so you take the seed and you place it under your tongue for the first 9 minutes of what we can construe as its germination period, right? Once you place the seed underneath your tongue, the saliva that holds your DNA code, the seed will download that information during the 9 minutes period that it's under your tongue. And it'll read your DNA code and see if you have any weakness therein, i.e., a disease, or are prone to a disease. And it will read that information and it will grow. If you grow the plant to its proper maturation period, it will grow and produce a fruit that will have everything you need within it to cure you of that disease. That shit's about fucking crazy enough to be the truth now, isn't it? And sure as shit, it works. And I saw when I did the experiment, I don't have any disease or anything like that, but I did it anyway because it was cool. And sure as shit, those plants grew far superior to anything else they grew. But they also must adhere to a couple other things than just putting it on your tongue. All right. You actually have to talk to the seed, right? And you want to take it out of the 9 minutes of under your tongue. You present it to the bodies of the universe, right? The sky, right? The stars are there. Even if it's cloudy, the stars are still there, right? Even if it's daylight, you can't see them, they're still there, right? And you introduce the seed to the heavenly bodies that are going to control its life from then on, including the moon, which has a great effect on it. And you say, hey, heavenly bodies, this is my friend. And you can call the seed by whatever planet it is or whatever. Say, I'm introducing to you, and I request that you help my young friend seed here to grow the proper way. And then you put it in the ground and you do not water it for 3 days. Because if you water it, you will wash off the saliva that is still on the outside of the seed and you'll stop its computation and it will not follow through with it and therefore will not be effective. So you cannot water it for 3 days. But after 3 days, you can water it and then it'll grow properly from there. It's a little secret that you got to know. And not only that, but you should grow the seed, the plant, according to the lunar cycle. And from the new moon forward, as it's waxing or growing, you plant crops that have an above ground harvest, like tomatoes and stuff like that, anything that grows above ground. From the full moon to the new moon, the other part of the lunar cycle, you will be growing seeds that have an underground harvest, such as potatoes, carrots, and shit like that, that grow underground. Right? And so you have to check out the Old Farmer's Almanac, which will tell you these dates, because even though that's a general rule, the cycle, you know, whether it's waxing or waning, there are days within each cycle that are not, let's say they're not suited to begin plants on, and you got to make sure that you don't begin them on those days because it will debilitate the plant, right? Right? It's complicated, but once you learn these rules, boom, just like what I'm learning right now, it works properly. And so give it a try, believe it or don't. That's just one of the concepts in those books, the most famous one, albeit you got to look it up. Just do a Google search of Ringing Seeds of Russia by Vladimir Megra, and you could literally read them for free online. But I would suggest buying the copies from, say, like eBay or something, because holding the book in your hand is much better, and having the physical representation, you can adjust it much better than looking at the screen. And you start reading them, there's a lot more in those books than what I just told you. But that concept right there is one of its core concepts in it. Like I said, just crazy enough to work. And so not only that, but it's a great read. Really cool story. And there's so many other cool things in it. Just barely scratched the surface in a 3-minute breakdown. So yeah, check them out. Those books literally altered my life course. There isn't any other book on earth that did that. All right. But that series of books literally changed my path. That's no small thing, right? No small thing. Literally changed the actual path of my life, because they rang my inner bell of truth. And so I took the information and I assimilated it into me, not just learned it, but enacted it within my life. Therefore, it had a much greater effect. Another book I can recommend is The Children of the Book of the One, not to be confused of Children of the One, Children of the Book of the One. And that's another good read. And there's some meditation practices in there that I wish I would have known when I was fledgling. And there's also some energy building practices in there that are unparalleled with anything else. Children of the Law of the One by John Peniel. Make sure you get that one. Not be confused with Law of the One, which is completely different bullshit, and some kind of hippy dippy bullshit that's not effective at all. Children of the Law of the One. And for the fuck of it, look up Book T. Learn a little bit about the tarot. All right, we're gonna watch a slow boy whiteboard video on the way out. Also, if you want to look up, for just shits and giggles, look up The Key of Solomon, which will teach you how to enact magic on this plane. Solomon was the greatest magician in history, and if you take on a couple of his practices, you will see a direct result in your life. I've done things that fucking weird and amazing, right? But you got to believe it, because if you don't, it don't work. But Key of Solomon is really interesting, really cool. You can in order for any experiment, as he calls it, magic to work, and magic is in everything that you see around you in all creation. Matter of fact, the heart beating in your chest is a form of magic. All right, so it's not like hocus pocus fucking, and it's not evil. All right, it's natural law. And so he says, for any experiment to work, you must purge your physical body for 3 days. Right? In other words, you have to fast, and you have to go so far as to even wash your clothing every day. And so any witch out there that's trying to cast a spell, you know how effective it is? Jack and shit. Because I don't know a single one of them that would fast for even 1 day, much less purge themselves for 3. And so therefore their experiments, their magic is weak, right? Okay. Let's check out this one.
Suicide is always there as an option, but it's never the right solution to the problem. And if you hit your breaking point, instead of just taking your life, do something one step short of it. Quit your job and move to China to become a rice. Don't quit your job. There are resources available. Talk to your loved one. And
What?
suicide is always there as an option, but it's never the right solution to the problem. And if you hit your breaking point, instead of just taking your life, do something one step short of it. Quit your job and move to China to become
at least he realized that he was reading about King, right?
don't quit your job. There are resources
good shit.
available.
One more.
Talk to
This is just too funny. This lady's here. And then there she is. and this man
Oh yeah, they do this all the time.
is here.
They edit people into the scenes.
Where is he?
You look
He's
like this
just here.
full room.
And then
You'll see they're
he's here as well.
multiplied over as like in a video game, right? Repeating characters. Hilarious.
So my
Believe they may be involved in some sort of intergalactic drug cartel, perhaps affiliated with one of the interstellar wizard alliances.
Wizard alliances?
Yes, next question.
Just a thought, more of a shot in the dark, but we wouldn't happen to be invading Iran today, would we?
You got me.
I fell for it. You almost got away with that one.
No, I went too far. I believe they may be involved in some.
Okay, last one. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, look at this motherfucking fat fucker. You know he ain't have to put that door that and he's going to be suing you because he got hurt. Oh, fuck. That's good shit, man. Thank you so much for posting that shit. It's fucking hilarious. And I always need a laugh. That's why I like to go to your channel and check those out when I need something like that, right? Pop on there because you always got something good. And, you know, you always have, you know, excellent research as well as a few good laughs. And so I love it. Okay, let's wind it down. Let's close it up. Once again, thank everybody for joining. Once again, boost the immune system now. And the first thing you want to do is get yourself a water filter and start there. Rehydrate yourself. Thank that water. Talk to it. Don't be afraid. I remember when I first started doing this, before I even got the filter, that's what I would do. I would thank the water and literally say Om over it, right? Om, right? Fucking frequency and vibration of your voice will go through the water and structure it molecularly. And also, it does do a bit to dissipate the toxins therein. Especially if you say a few ohms over it and let it sit for a minute. Then it will start to dissipate and evaporate some of the toxins out of it. Force it out with the frequencies, the vibration. And this is why, this is how they make holy water. You know, we've all heard of it. You just throw it on a vampire, right? But what they do is they chant or sing over the vat of water, and it structures it molecularly, and that's what they call holy water, right? All it is structured water, properly structured, right? And you can assume that every drop of water on this earth that is not a raindrop has the wrong structure and also has a bad memory, right? And this is why the distillation process is so good, because when you boil the water, evaporate it, and it goes up and comes back down, as in the process of rain, in this rat cage that we live in called Earth, is basically a giant water distillery. It erases the old memory and gives it a new, cleaner, and happier memory, right? I know it sounds fucking crazy, isn't it? Everybody looks at me like I'm goddamn insane. But sadly, it is natural law. And so, right? And I literally talk to everything I ingest. I say a very simple sentence. I tell it what to do. I say, first, I thank the Creator for the abundance. I say, thank you for this abundance. And I would like to assimilate what I need from, you know, in other words, from the food, assimilate that which I need and eliminate that which I don't. Very simple fucking command to the food. Works like a charm, right? Because there's always shit in there that you don't want to assimilate into your body, because the cells in your body are constantly replacing themselves. The water cells and the liquid cells, as well as the solid cells, and they're replacing themselves with the water you ingest and the food you ingest. constantly replacing itself. As a matter of fact, after X amount of years, every cell in your body will be replaced. I think it's 7 years. And so constantly replacing themselves. So if you're going to replace it with garbage, you will become that garbage. And if you're replacing water that has been put through a purification process and was formerly sewage, which they do in California and many other big cities, they recycle the sewage and put it in your municipal water. That water is still sewage. Even if they filtered out the chunks of shit out of it, it hasn't forgotten that memory and is still sewage, and you're ingesting water that is making you sewage. It's fucking heinous, isn't it? Yeah. And so, I mean, if you listen to me long enough, you're going to realize that either I am 100% batshit crazy, and if I was, I wouldn't look like I do today at 60 years old. And you'll realize that, yeah, there's a method to all of this madness, and all of it stacks on top of each other. And so if you just do one thing, you'll have a little bit of results. Matter of fact, if you do one thing for one day, you're barely going to feel it. That's why I say, give me a day, you'll feel a little bit better. Give me a week, you're going to feel real good. Give me a month, and your life just changed. So you have to do these things for, that's how it is. You got to do these things. You persevere. You got to be true to yourself and believe it. If you don't believe it, what the fuck's good's going to do you, right? Like, you can ingest all these nutraceuticals and you'll have a certain effect from it. But if you believe in them, it's going to multiply that effect tenfold. So, part of natural law, baby. Okay, big love for joining. Don't mean to sound like I'm fucking giving everybody a fucking lecture, but hey, I'm not lying to you. I would not be wasting my breath if I had even a particle of doubt in everything that I've just said as pertaining to flesh and whatnot, because shit works, man. The little story is my over 50-year-old buddy, who was shooting blanks into his girlfriend. It was 1 month under the flush. He knocked his girlfriend up because testosterone levels went up so high. The Nazi sorcerers called him in immediately, told him he had an experimental form, or he had an unknown form of hepatitis, put him on an experimental drug, sterilized him for life. Why? Because they couldn't have him having kids now, could they? Yeah, it's a cool story, but it's a sad one too, right? Because when he told me the doctors called him in, I said, don't go. And he said, well, looked at me funny. I go, don't go. And he goes, why? He goes, you'll see why. If you go there, you're going to know why. I said, they're going to fucking take you off the shit and put you on something else. Sure as shit they did. And he came back and said, they said I got to stop doing the supplements in order to take this experimental fucking hep medicine. I go, and you taking their word for it? No, they're lying to you. I said, don't do it. But of course he did. And I had such high hopes for him too. After he was actually my stupidest friend ever, right? He's the kind of guy who will walk up and say, hey, I'm Albert, right? Just literally fucking irritating like that. My stupidest friend was the only one smart enough to do the flesh. And he literally bought $1,500 worth of fucking products when he started, because he saw the transformation in me, and he came in and he was like, all right, what are you doing? I just got back from running the trail and working out, and I was all yoked up, right? And he's like, okay, fuck it. Tell me what you're doing, right? He couldn't ignore it anymore. And I said, what? He goes, well, what are you doing, to look like this? I go, oh, well, if you glance at the table in front of you where all my supplements were sitting right in front of him, I said, then you'll get a little clue of what I'm doing. And he pulled out his reading glasses and he looked at it. Oh, okay. And started looking at it, right? And he started reading the ingredients, and he goes, hey, I heard of Coca-Cola. I've heard of that, right? And I'm like, dude, trust me, this is what's done this to me, right? Just buy some of it and start using it. He's like, all right. So I started writing them down. Literally spent $1,500, bought the filters, everything, dude. He didn't complete the flesh fully, but he did pretty close. And he had such a dramatic change. Testosterone levels went up high enough within 1 month's time to stop shooting blanks. That's how much of a dramatic change it had on him. So it's a cool little story. He owes the life of his son, not to me, but to his ability to try it, to use the pudding and get the proof. All right. Thanks a lot for joining. Big love to everybody. I'm going to keep you updated on further developments, but you can just know right now, the only thing that's going to stop me is if they kill me. And yeah, I never know, it could happen. And as you all know, I'm not afraid of death, and I won't give a fuck. I'll just be that much more powerful. But you know, it would definitely fuck them up. Woo! Big love. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks so much, Slow Boy in particular. Love your channel, all your channels, and I'm always so happy to check them out. Even though I haven't had a lot of time lately because literally been studying to defend my life, because they're not just trying to disinherit me; they are trying to literally ruin my life. And so I'm not going to take that sitting down. And the sad part is that I'm not going to ruin back, but this will just create them to continue ruining their own lives, because once again, they fear what they don't understand, and it'll just enrage them. Everything that I do, doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, will just continue to enrage them, especially when I defeat them in what they think is already a won contest. And matter of fact, that's going to really fuck them up. And I'm not trying to brag or be happy about it or anything. I'm just doing what I have to do to protect my own my interests in myself, right? And the other thing is too, I realized that I got to get the fuck out of here, right? Out of this town, this house, everything, right? And I don't feel like I want to sell it, but I just got to get out of here. At least get a break from this place, because it's fucking killing me, and all the stress is. And so, all right, this time for Street for Real, shutting her down. Big love to everybody. Thanks so much. What the hell is that you're saying? Damn, I just heard a gunshot by my house and Beagle's going crazy. Must be rabbit hunters back home. Oh, fuck. At least it ain't the fucking joggers, right? But right on. What's that other one? I remember Hillary Clinton's crowds were done this way. Yeah. Biden, all that, man. It's all just editing. See, people, they're incredibly stupid, and they will not pay attention to any details. And even if they did, they would forget about it. What is it, 37 seconds later or something? So, all right. Boost the immune system now. Have some fun. I used to tell people go out and have a steak right now. Dude, steaks here, fucking $20 for even just a shitty steak, just one. $30 for two. And I'm talking just little bitty filet mignons like I used to get. You could cost you about $25 to $30 for one rib steak. So, not advocating that anymore, because shit'll break you. Somebody asked me what a gallon of milk was the other day, and I forgot to answer because I don't buy milk and I don't know what it is. But I know that that's a common measurement of how the economy is going. Also, they say that one of the most telling, say, measurement of the economy in any country is they look at the Big Mac index, right? You heard me right, yeah. What the cost of a Big Mac is, because there's normally a McDonald's in virtually every country. And so they can compare the price of Big Macs throughout the world and find out which ones are the most expensive and which are the least expensive, and have a snapshot of the basic economy of that country, right? The Big Mac index. Can you believe it? Fucking crazy shit. All right, big love, everybody. Have some fun today. Give somebody a hug. Thank you so much for being there. Help me boost my spirits, and know that I'm feeling much better. And I'm not trying to say I'm back or anything like that, or back to any level. As I explained earlier, every time that the society chisels at your self-confidence a little bit, a little chunk of it is chipped off, like cutting a diamond, right? A little facet falls off, and you might be able to replace that facet and possibly rebuild your self-confidence, but it'll never get back to the level it once was. It'll still be just a tiny bit less, even if it's just a molecule less, especially if they hammer at you multiple different ways and multiple pieces of your confidence fall off. It's going to be even harder to rebuild back to that. And not a single one of us has been able to rebuild our self-confidence like it was when we became a reasoning human, right? Remember back then when you were young, everything seemed possible? Big love, everybody. Like I said, get a water filter, give somebody a hug, and I'm going to be back to see you hopefully on our scheduled day, Wednesday. And if anything big happens, I'll be hitting you up. And look forward to seeing a video from me. I'm going to try to do the one about my mom's wolf story. That's the next one on my plate. So after I get all this legalese and bullshit done, I'm going to start chipping away at that, because I feel very passionate about getting that out there. So it should be a good one. All right. Have a good time. Cheers.